That'll be my phone telling us live.
Right, okay, we are here, ready to roll. Once again, 4020 is live, which is quite disconcerting because I'm looking at the screen now and all I can see is Richard's belly, but never mind. Richard will be, well, he's on screen, you can see him. It is, of course, Richard Shoright's birthday today. So,
no, we can't pay. We can't.
So, what we will do is on Twitter at 4020 live. How old is Richard Shorright? Do you want to have the opening guess going? Under or over 34 and a half?
I'm saying 38.
38. Phil?
Since the haircut, 26, probably 42.
I'm going, I don't know, I should really know, he's a friend. 33.
No, Scotty's right.
How old are you?
38.
You're 38.
The first prediction he's got right. Nice at the end of the season.
Look at that.
Waits until
The future's bright.
Time to changing. The predictions are going to be right. I'll tell you. Time to change.
Scott, you beat a hull, you've got out, no one's killed you, and you've just got a prediction.
Yeah, I'll tell you what as well, the lunch yesterday for the vice presidents of Hull, and there's around about 150 people there. And yeah, full of respect, and I really enjoyed it. It was a question and answer with myself and Lee Crooks and Danny Washbrook joined as well. So they earned a few quid for the club as well.
Did you get ripped in?
Yeah, I got ripped in, all right. Yeah,
what was the reaction?
Oh, pretty good. Yeah, and I'm led to believe been pretty good on Twitter as well for my open honesty. And so I just want to say a big thank you for the respect what they showed yesterday. And I can only be open and honest. And there was only one gentleman who came to me after he didn't like what I said regarding the ex-chairman, but unfortunately it was the truth, and as I saying goes, mate, it's tough.
Well, it wouldn't be like you not to upset someone, would it? It's just one of them things. Have you had a good week? Have you had a good week, Phil? International rugby dominating your life now?
Absolutely, and something that I think we should all be extremely proud of what happened on Saturday in New Zealand, the Australia-Tonga game, just to even be associated to a sport that can produce something like that. Just shows you how big we can be if we get the international dimension right. The hymn singing was spine tingling whether you were in the stadium or not. The Aussies deserved a huge amount of credit to play the quality of rugby that they did in that intimidating atmosphere. The second half was just something else with Tonga getting multiple back-to-back sets of 6, the crowd noise rising, the spontaneous hymn singing. I think on the back of that we've had some World Cup qualifiers, we've got European Championship starting this weekend. Rich and I have been to Ellen Road this afternoon for the official opening of the Test series with New Zealand. Just that international dimension. I think sometimes we feel a little bit insular and small with the club game and wonder, how can we increase interest and attendance. The international game gives you the opportunity to do all that, and we make no apologies for the Table of Tat having an international dimension to it.
No, the Table of Tat is full of quite good stuff, actually. This is the only show on Facebook, YouTube, podcasts with 46 Great Britain caps. We've got to say that. We're quite proud of that fact, aren't we, lads?
We are, yeah. We've got a jacket as well.
We've got a jacket.
Caps, jackets, everything.
Yeah, we've got everything on this show. We'd have had more Great Britain caps if Scully had pulled his finger out and let us all down.
Should have got to 50.
Yeah, he could have got to 50, really.
I can tell the true story when I get to 50 for that one as well. But I tell you what, and because I picked up and I was chuckling myself a little bit because Nigel Wood now, as you know, is in charge of the Rugby League International Federation, and the headlines in the league expect international news: Wood international game flourishing. Well, the game changed as a whole, as we know, back when the Kangaroos came over back in 1982. And we know that Great Britain have had many, many tours, and we know that Kiwis have had tours from there. All of a sudden, after a good World Cup last year, and also as well after the Tonga performance against Australia and the crowd what we got from there, and New Zealand's performance against Australia a week ago, all of a sudden the international game is flourishing. Where has it been for the last 10, 15, 20 years? Every other sport has an international calendar. Every player will tell you in any sport they want to play for their national side. All of a sudden the international game is flourishing. Where is the international calendar for next year? People keep asking me now, about the tour to New Zealand because, with the ambassador role I played at the World Cup. Where is the international calendar? It makes me laugh when all of a sudden we have a couple of good test matches, we have good crowds and all this sort. All of a sudden the game's right. Come on.
Hopefully there is a meeting of there's a congress of the International Federation in York whilst this New Zealand series is
And rightly so.
and the calendar will be ratified. I think what's happened more than anything.
How long is the calendar for?
How long is the piece of string? No, who knows? I mean, there's one in place for the next, up to the next World Cup.
So which is
So that
2020.
will be 3 years.
Right, okay.
With an indication as to what might happen in the year afterwards. So I think they're discussing a 4-year block. But I think what changed this weekend, or what proved to the administrators this weekend, was that we're very, very close to getting a 4th Tier 1 nation in Tonga.
Yeah.
And they need fixtures. They need guaranteed fixtures. And I think the plan is that a Pacific type cup is one of the things that they're talking about to give them more games. But we now need Tonga to come and play England.
But also, yeah, without a shower now, but also as well, what we do need from the International Rugby League Federation is simple. To the clubs, the international calendar is bigger than the club game. That has been a massive letdown in our situation because of the international game. Because clubs don't buy international rugby league. Clubs don't pay the wages for them to go on international duty, you know, so they don't back it. The clubs have to be told, this is what's happening at international level. You make all the players available, because this is, we talk about, you know, promoting the game, we talk about sponsorship. International sport brings the big sponsorship money in.
It does, but as a sport, it's something that we obviously need to look at. We're going to get stuck into the, I'm going to call it a debacle last week against France, you know, and I think the headline on the front of the League Express rather sums up the coverage and everything of that game, and the fact that the guy got a hat-trick, he hadn't even spelled his name wrong in the paper, which is quite worrying. But we need to go. I know Gareth Walker, one of our colleagues in the media, said he's been asked to submit details of the fixtures that maybe he might be needed to cover next year. Can't do it because they don't know him. You're bang right. It needs sorting out, needs a bit of longer term vision. I want to know, as a listener, what you do in respect to the international game. We've seen it before. You know, we saw the Tonga thing at the weekend. Brilliant. If you said Tonga are coming here, it would develop great interest. But we've got one of the big countries coming in New Zealand, and I don't know anything about this. You know, it's weird. We work in the sport. But as an outsider, I get asked, "Have England got any games? Has England got any games?" People don't know. People didn't know England were playing France last week on the day of the game. They had no idea it was happening.
Well, I was over at Hull yesterday, as I mentioned at the luncheon, and people on my table were saying, you know what, the promotion in Hull is non-existent. Nobody knows that there's a test match coming up. You know, it's again, we're not bashing again the RFL here, but unfortunately, we've got to state the obvious. Where is the promotion for the greatest game of all? You know, it's all right in Leeds, you know, where I live in Ulster. Yeah, I sit on the back of a bus. So what? It's a rugby league place, and we want it. We need it out there. And speaking to somebody at Hull FC yesterday, who was on our table again, and who works at the club, it's nowhere near a sellout. No. It's nowhere near a sellout. So come on, please. It's international sport. People want to go watch international sport. Tell them what's happening. Tell them.
Yeah. Richard Shorite is our man. It's his birthday today, and he's crawling around on the floor in Phil's shop. Rumours has he's dropped 2 pence, but he's trying to get rid of a buzzing apparently.
Man on his knees.
Yeah.
I tell you what as well. When we talk about with the international calendar again for the England Knights fellas, it's going to be a great experience for them going to Papua New Guinea. You know, and say the culture what they have out there, they will witness nothing like it in their lives. You know, and they will bring that experience on. And all that they want to do, I would imagine they will say when they come back from Papua New Guinea, I can't wait to go back. And I want to go to Fiji, and I want to go to Samoa, and I want to go to Tonga, you know. And
you've upset the Papua New Guinean nation.
No, I haven't.
As well.
No, I haven't.
That comment on
no, I haven't. It was
outrageous.
Mark.
It was outrageous.
Listen, it wasn't a
It
political
was
statement. It was a.
What you write on Twitter.
Listen, mate.
All
it was a phase, and I can reassure you in the dressing room. I know exactly what the P&G fellas will be saying. You know, when you go to Papua New Guinea, you get told you cannot go here after a certain time. You have to stick together even for the day because if you don't and you go to these places, you will be taken away.
Yeah,
because there's cannibalism. But there's cannibalism. You won't be coming back.
You've had a nightmare.
Mark, I haven't. It was only a phrase.
Hold on. Listeners,
it was only a phrase.
That's going on report. We'll have a look at that next week.
It was only a phrase.
You've had a shocker.
When the P&G be saying, when the P&G lads are getting wound up before the ground to play the England Knights, you mark my words, there'll be all sorts of words being said from there. It was only a phrase.
There's all sorts of words being said on your Twitter feed, mate. You want to have a look at it now and again. I want to go back. We've got. Let's start with what we've seen this week because as a sport, you all right there, Rich? Have you sorted it out?
Yeah, I think we're less buzzing than a certain international. Well, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. We'll move on. Good evening to Chris Chester, who's watching, by the way. Be keeping an eye on us because he's going out to camp with Scotland.
Good luck with Scotland in the European Championships.
Exactly. Busy day for Wakefield today. They've announced Craig Kopchak. We'll come on to that in a bit. Last week, France-England. Right? What did we make of the whole event? Right? Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the streaming or we're starting with the game?
I think we should have been honest and not try to sell this as an international. It was an opposed warm-up session for England. England were based in Manchester. I think Wayne Bennett obviously wanted some of the guys who haven't played for 5 or 6 weeks to have a run out. So to draft in England Knights players, to give his squad players a run, that's not an international test match. So I think
why did we not play in France? The players have been overseas to pay their respects to the war
I am
heroes.
guessing there was a cost and logistical implication to that.
Right, okay.
But so what I'm saying is we shouldn't have sold this as a full international. Even open the doors for free, bring kids in, do whatever you like, but don't try and sell it as a full international because it wasn't. It was useful for some of the French fringe players for their European Championship warm. It was useful for some of the English fringe players to have a run before they either went on the night squad to PNG or we now have the New Zealand Test Series. I think if you try and sell that as an international, you're probably putting your head on the chopping block because people will say there's nobody in the stadium, it doesn't feel as though it has that kind of majesty to it, which an international should. Added to the fact that I think, before we talk about the coverage of it, what happened at the end, for me, was the most disappointing thing.
Go on.
Well, somebody decided that we would give a shield to commemorate the winners of this game.
Right. What is the obsession with sport in giving away? And I blame Leeds for this.
We've got a
The
lot of
Bev Risman Trophy.
Bowl.
Right, bowl, whatever it is. What the hell is the obsession? Every game, it's like school sports day. Everyone's got to get a trophy.
Somebody at the RFL.
Shit, so he ain't playing these days. He might have won something.
Oh, of course, a bit harsh, really.
A bit true.
A bit tricky.
Somebody at the RFL.
You'd have beaten Lee, wouldn't you, for the Bev Risman Trophy or bowl or whatever it
I'm
is.
not so sure.
Has bought a job lot of ashtrays and
Right.
stuck them in a cupboard at Red Hall, and every time an international's played or there's a championship final, engrave on it somebody's name and give it out. It looks awful.
I blame the basketball shield. That's what started
It
in
looks
2002.
horrible. So first of all, we decided we're going to give a trophy for this game, which isn't really a full international. Second thing is we decide we're going to name this trophy after Paul Barriere. Now, our World Cup, the most ornate and arguably the most important trophy in the whole of the world of rugby league, is called the Paul Barriere Trophy. It's named after a French resistance fighter who came through the Second World War and reinvigorated rugby league after the Vichy government had banned it, and suggested to the governing bodies at the time that it would be great to have a World Cup between the 4 nations that were playing at the time, and it was named after him. And at the moment, the 2021 Rugby League World Cup Committee is going around telling the story of Paul Barriere and his resistance fighter role and the role that he played in elevating the World Cup, the second World Cup after the Football World Cup, let's not forget. So we decide to name a shield after the guy who's already got the World Cup named after him. Nonsense. We then put the England team, who seem a little bit embarrassed to have been given something for winning what is an opposed training run, behind a board where Paul Barriere's name is spelt wrong.
Right.
Now, it might only be a little thing. The accent was the wrong way round, but that is the equivalent of if the French had run that game and called it the Jamie Peacock Trophy, spelt Peacock P-E-E instead of P-E-A, we would have got upset about that and said it's disrespectful. So on every level, we made a mess at the end of that game. We gave it a kudos it didn't deserve, and then we gave a trophy attached to it that we scandalised by getting it wrong, by naming it after the... There's so many French players, you could have Jean Gallier, you know, there's so many in
Why
there.
do you even need to do it?
Why do you need
It's
to
a
do it?
meaningless,
Absolutely.
meaningless game. In the grand scheme of
Absolutely.
it, it's a meaningless game.
So we're sending out a message that it's one thing, and then we're trying to pretend it's another, and in the middle of that, there's coverage of it that some people found acceptable, some didn't. But we've got to a point where we're streaming an international, but we haven't really fully tested the equipment to make sure it works for everybody. We do sometimes make a noose for our own net.
We mentioned last week on this show, it was your idea, I give Scory the praise for it, right? we've taken a game to Lee, right? It's since become apparent after the game. Mike Latham, chairman of the league, got invited to the game the day before the game. So we're not even inviting the dignitaries of the host club to the game. You know, I mean, it's just pathetic, if I'm brutal. It's embarrassing. As a sport, we've got so many things to learn out of this game. And I don't want this, putting the boot in on the RFL. If the RFL stopped cocking stuff up, we wouldn't put the boot in. We don't want to sit here talking about how rubbish they have been recently. And last week was another poor example, right? We want to be talking about what's happening on the field. But sadly, they make it a little bit easy, Scotty, sometimes. Lee, right? Why is that game at Lee, right? Lee do not even own that ground. They get no revenue from that game. Why is that game at Lee? A venue that, unless you live 5 miles away, is a pain in the ass to get to. So why is it
on a
there?
Wednesday night?
On a Wednesday night, why is it there? Right, if we want to make it a pain in the ass to get to, let's make it so the ground's going to start. Phil said last week, should have taken it to Workington. There are 8,000 there, it would have been a great atmosphere. Someone said to me, why don't you just have it at Cass? They'd have got more. If England had played at Cass, you would have got a big crowd, a rugby league crowd. Do you agree? I mean, it must be disheartening, Scotty. I mean, you've played for Great Britain and England. You want to be playing in front of full houses, don't you?
I agree with you totally, and as I say, when you meant to take it to a rugby league ground, what you'd have said, Cumbria would have been magnificent. They would have sold out at Cumbria, don't worry about that. Whenever they would have taken it, whether it been Barrow, Whitehaven or Workington, it would have sold out because they want to see quality rugby league and they want to see internationals. It's proof from there. I agree, it should have been taken out to Cass or Wakefield or even Leeds, Leeds, even with the stand from there. A 10,000 crowd there would have been a great atmosphere. And as players, you want to be doing that. But again, as Phil just mentioned there about the history of the game, unfortunately, people now within the game who run the game think the game has been invented since 1996. Without history, fellas, you haven't got anything in life. That's what life is all about. It's a history, and we don't seem to want to compliment that. And I find it, again, I find it absolutely pathetic. I find it disrespectful when ex-players like myself, we want to put ourselves up for the game. We want to put ourselves up for the RFL to say, yes, we want to be your ambassadors. We want to sell the greatest game of all. We don't want paying for it. Just there, a couple of tickets for your family, a little bit of bite to eat, and maybe a couple of drinks on there. We want to help promote the greatest game of all. But do we get asked? Do we bugger? There you go.
It is worrying, isn't it? The lack of
I think
foresight involved in anything that they're doing at the minute.
There is a huge amount of interest in international rugby league, but yet this day and age, whatever you are, whether you're a radio station or a publisher, a bookshop, whatever it is, you have to let people know you're there. We have to announce these fixtures earlier. We have to put tickets on sale early. We have to make it easier to buy tickets. It was hard, apparently, for people to get on websites to get tickets for Lee, even when they heard that the game was available at relatively short notice. You have to. I don't understand things like apps, but apparently you have to be able to buy stuff on an app these days because that's how people make decisions. And at very short notice, they do want to go to things. We have to promote, give a longer lead-in time for these test matches. We have to spend some money on marketing to let people know that it's out. This is on a prime time terrestrial broadcaster, but who's going to know about it until the games kick off? Where is all the advertising for these games?
I'll tell you what, no, when we talk about costs, and Phil's mentioned when we didn't go off Frank because of the cost.
I'm only surmising.
No, but what you said about the cost, when I picked up the League Express this morning, I thought, oh yeah, it's a good picture of that England squad. Then I went, hold on. There's 14 backroom staff of England, not just from a cost and that point of view. Has each player got a babysitter? What the hell is all that about?
That's modern sport. That's modern sport.
No, but Mark, I understand. Mark, I understand with a modern sport from there. But please, what is all that about?
You go football. There's more backroom staff than players.
I understand that. But what cost is that? What cost is that when we're not awash with money?
How many people turn up with the match officials these days? There's about 11 of them, aren't there, normally? What with the masseurs and people that do the strength and conditioning.
Because it's a bus driver on there. Because I tell you what, I want to be a Blakey. I want to check the players' tickets to make sure they're on the bus on time. Do you know what I mean? It's pathetic. And I understand it's modern sport.
Every national team.
I understand it's modern sport.
The Kiwis will have come with that.
Yeah, they will have done. So we need to improve what we do. How are you back? What's happening? Have you broke it?
I don't know.
Have you broke it?
No, I'm trying to fix it.
What have you broke?
I don't know.
Never mind.
It's not bothered, it's his birthday. It's not
It's
bothered,
his birthday.
it's his birthday.
He's
It's
got
not
his eye on the cake.
Can't
not
even hear
bothered,
what we've said.
yeah.
Can't even hear what we've said. The RFL, now we've split from Super League, the RFL, all they've got to look after is the international game,
Challenge Cup.
and League One and the Championship.
Mm.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that all they've got to look after
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, that's what will happen. I'm not sure that staff have been appointed yet on the Super League side, but yes, that will be the division, I suspect, after this Test series, which will mark the end of the season.
Interesting. Rich, you're looking perturbed. What's
Yeah,
up?
so I can't work out what's going wrong. Which I assume is what's going on at Red Hall as well. Ha 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 ha.
Hey.
Link it all together. I didn't see Wednesday's game because I was out, and I'd like.
Well,
to,
I didn't see it because I couldn't
Well,
get on
no,
the app.
I'd like to have gone back and watched the replay, but it's not there.
Is it not there? I
Well,
didn't even know.
Actually, it's on the French Federation website.
Oh, well,
So if you do wish to watch it, you now can.
no, that's good. Then I can go watch Tom Johnson's tries.
So,
John Stoney.
John Stoney. Right, let's talk about the game then. Pretty much what we expected. Comprehensive win for England. Scully was always going to be the case. Tom Johnson gets a hat trick,
Yeah.
and Wayne Bennett comes out after the game and says, "Yeah, well, he's not going to be in the England team."
Well, that's what I said, did he?
Well,
He's confirmed that this afternoon.
pretty much said, "Yeah, he's well done, but you're not going to be in the team."
Who's going to play on the wing then?
Makinson and McGilvery.
I was going to pick Makinson instead.
Well, should he come out and say that? Should he not let the hype build a little bit longer? You know, Tom Johnson's had a great season.
Well, to be honest with you, Wakefield fans have been thinking, you know what, I'm going to travel to one on Saturday because I'm going to go watch Johnson make his England debut. Now, Bennett said that. I don't know, there might have been 50, 70, maybe 100 Wakefield fans saying, I want to go see my player, I'll see week in and week out, make his England debut. That might stop people going now. Stay home and watch it on
I
television.
think he also gave a hint that Sam Tompkins wasn't going to be playing this afternoon at his press conference.
Yeah, you bit of the presser today. What happened? Anything good? Nice sandwiches?
So what's the
They
indication
weren't
of the
chips.
siding, Phil? What's the indication of the siding?
Again, he keeps his cards very close to his chest. It looks as though Bateman might be in the second row.
Jake, and also what you get with Jake Conley proves in America.
Or
he
Jake
could-
Conley off the bench.
He could go at number 9. Yeah, Connor could go at number 9, or he could play loose forward, so he gives you a lot of variations.
He does see Connor as a 6 rather than a 7. That's what he said. But then, of course, wait till the 17 is
A
announced.
bit of reverse psychology, I might think, for the Kiwis.
Well, Michael Maguire was sat next to him and has already done a terrific job with the Kiwis.
So Sam Tompkins ain't going to be anywhere near the 17 after the season what he's had as well.
I think
Well, why can't he play at 7? Why can't he play at 7?
Apparently, Sam's been in Cyprus since the grand final at Logan's wedding.
Right.
Only just joined the camp yesterday, so him out of the first test.
Alright, okay. That's fair enough. We're obviously not privy to that information.
We do
but
know that Sean O'Loughlin has virtually confirmed he's staying at Wigan
We
following
do.
today's press conference.
We do.
Blow for Leeds at them.
Well, safe to
blow.
say Leeds were definitely interested in it. They did make an offer. It was a higher offer than Wigan had offered him. Now, whether Wigan have come back or Sean wants to stay at Wigan, that information was right. Look, it's never been denied that Leeds made an offer.
No, it's not. I think we were right to go with it. We were right to go with it. People that are asking questions, got one that's just coming now on social media. So Sam Burgess drops out, Ollie Gildart comes in, and Ollie Gildart is going to get picked at centre ahead of a centre who got picked in the England team initially, who ain't going to play. What's that all about? Reece Lynn picked in the England squad. Surprise to many, let's be fair. We thought maybe England Knights. I think he's one of the most improved centres in the competition.
Yeah.
No one would have begrudged him playing.
But he
But
played very well.
you'd
against
also
France.
argue, is he not going to have been better going to Papua New Guinea and playing rather than sitting carrying the water for the England lads? And again, if Gildart isn't good enough to get in the team or in the squad initially, how can he be good enough to get in front of Lynn? Or was Lynn only picked as a development? In which case, why is he not going with the Knights?
All very good questions.
What's it like, Scott? I mean, you obviously played when you got picked in the squad, but there were lads there that knew they weren't going to play. They were pretty much there in case anyone got hurt.
Well, to be honest with you, back in nowadays, you know, you didn't have, you know, when you played your home test, it was only 19 players who were selected because we only had two subs in them days. So overall, the lads knew themselves that they weren't going to be picked, but they just wanted to be around the environment from there. But when you look at it from nowadays, they pick a squad of 23, and they're just going to be spare parts. You know, you try and keep them motivated, you try and keep them interested. But as I say, when you certainly when you looked at Mark Percival last year at the World Cup, when you looked at George Williams, they were absolutely bowled off because
But have they improved because of that experience?
Phil.
Is this part of it? Will Reece Lynn be a better player in 2019 for Wakefield because he's earned his first Test cap and he'll have spent 4 weeks around the England camp and may get a game if somebody's injured?
Right,
will that experience not do him good?
Well, I can reassure you. What Reece will be thinking is, you know what more do I have to do to be selected as the number one centre? That's a question. That's the question. He will be going to being around. I know they've all put the spin on it when they finish. It's been great around there. But they will tell you. He will tell you that I should have been given an opportunity because of the way that I've been playing.
To be fair, Guild are in the grand final, which is the game where you put yourself right in the front.
By the way, I don't have an issue with Guild being playing
and Percival's been brilliant this year.
I don't have an issue with him two playing the centres, but as Mark has said from there, and rightly so, he should have been with England Knights.
Except you need to keep some players here in case of injury.
Well, to be honest,
the likelihood is against New Zealand.
Well, to be honest with you, why do you pick Lynn when he prefers Bateman as a centre? I bet you he would rather pick Bateman as a centre than Reece Lynn.
Yeah, well, he'd rather pick Bateman than Ollie Gildart, wouldn't he? Let's be fair. He's made that quite clear.
Yeah.
So I look at it and I think there's a lot of questions that need answering.
See, also as well, when you talk about the environment, Phil, right, and whether rightly or wrongly, I'm not really 100% about this, but Sam Tompkins, why was it Sam picked last year and all this sort of thing and what have you, and now he's come back into the squad. Now Sam is not maybe getting the 17 for the first test, and if we do win it, hopefully we do win it, he won't be selected from there. So you talk about being around that environment, I'd say what Tompkins will be thinking, I wish I stayed in Cyprus, so I can't wait to get out to Catalans and enjoy the sunny weather. I can reassure you.
I think the good thing is that we're talking about team selection, and there have been occasions in the past where the team's almost picked itself.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And I think we've got a squad of players here that are preparing for what will be a fabulous but physically intimidating series against a team that were magnificent against Australia. We've also got a group of players who are in PNG getting a different sort of experience. I think you add those together, that's the basis of starting to plan for the 2021 World Cup. I think what we can say to a Reece Lynn now is that you are in contention for 2021 World Cup. You keep playing as well as you play. You have been noticed. You've been brought into the England squad. You've seen what it takes to be better than the two guys that are ahead of you at the moment. I think Lynn might say those two guys week in, week out played at a slightly higher level, week in, week out. Percival was the form centre in the competition. Gildart performed magnificently in the grand final. He's got an objective. He's got a bar that's been set that he needs to get slightly above if he's going to displace it. Isn't that what sport's all about?
Yeah, no, I get it. I do get it. But I just feel at this moment in time, would Reece Lynn be more beneficial watching everyone train or playing for the England Knights? I know which I'd rather.
But I think being around the senior England team is a kudos, and he should take that. And
Philly wants to play. Philly wants to play. Don't be buying into this culture thing. I'm telling you, don't be buying into this.
Against France, he's made his international debut, and that's the first role on the ladder.
Yeah, exactly. Well done.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to make this prediction here now. Right. This is the 2021 prediction. Right. Australia will not win the World Cup in 2021. You know why? No quality halfbacks.
It's gone 3 years.
I'll tell you what I've seen for Australia.
Tonga will win.
Listen, what I've seen Australia,
New Zealand,
when I've seen Australia over the last 2 weeks, they have no quality halfbacks. Hopefully, we start realising how our halfbacks are. They want to play and express themselves. We've seen what New Zealand have got. We've seen what they have got. Australia in 2021 will not win the World Cup because they have no halfbacks.
A horrible feeling there's a 17-year-old we've never heard of who by 2021 will be leading the Australians.
Very good. Sadly. Richie's back. Are you gutted that Tom Johnson and Reece Lynn are not going to be playing for England? That's the way it looks.
Well, they can rest up, can't they? Ahead of the brand new, exciting 2019 season coming soon.
They'll still have to train every day,
yeah,
won't they?
They've got a free hat. And get some kit they can flog on eBay if it times are hard during the winter.
Yeah.
I've seen plenty of players do that. Get the kit on eBay.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. Before.
Paul's just found us on YouTube.
Hello, Paul.
Which is amazing because we went off for a bit because my phone charger broke. But
is that what it was?
Yeah.
Have you mended it now? He's a very awkward handle.
I know, yeah.
Are you sure that's working?
Yes.
Rich, we know it's your birthday. Have you had a couple of shares before
No.
the show started? Or what?
I'm gonna,
You're not very
needed
professional.
one. You know what he's
I'm
like.
going to
you
take
know
a picture
professional.
after the show to show people how held together by string and sellotape.
Hey, just check that can of stones if he's been at it, man. Just check it.
It's not just the
I think if
programme,
you
it's
open
also-
that, I think if you open that can of stones, there'd be a nuclear warning went off somewhere. There's been an eruption in Leeds. We need to investigate.
North Leeds.
What else is happening?
People talking about the coverage on Wednesday, whatever it was. When did England play? And the app. And
Yeah, last Wednesday.
this and that and the other. And we said it's almost like we predicted it beforehand. And we're not. This is not a criticism of the technology because, as we've proven tonight, as I've proven, there but for the grace of God and all that. But who are we advertising this test series to? Who knows this test series is going on? Because the only people who watch that game are rugby league fans who signed up for the app.
Yeah.
No one knows this series is on, so we
No.
can say.
No.
There's some signs outside down the road now, got players' heads on and stuff. Sam Burgess ones are in the bin. But,
What do we make of it then, lads? Come on, let's have a look. Right, I want to start off with a positive. A big positive is it was nice to see a presentation team, I would say a professional commentary team, players who've been involved in the squad involved. I thought all that was really good. I was quite pleased with that. I had some issues with how it looked on the thing, and I think with a bit of hindsight, they could have done it a little bit better. But I think that's a production thing rather than the people that were involved. I had no criticism of them at all. So that was great. But then, and as Rich said, you know, we're doing this show, you know, off our own back with limited availability of equipment.
There's a hamster running around.
There's a hamster running around on the wheel and he's only got 3 legs, so straight away we're in trouble. But the RFL, and this goes back for me, Phil, to last year and the Samoa and the World Cup, and they have made an absolute mess of it, and they're still making a mess of it today. And that is the biggest problem I've got. They need to sort this out. In my opinion, they should have made the Samoa game free to view for everyone, so that everyone and anyone could watch it. It's free. Just download, get all the things. I know why they need to collect all the data, get all the emails. I know why they need to do that. I get that. If they make that free, everyone signs up to it. And if it don't work, there's a bit of, well, all right, first time, you know, free, it didn't cost me anything. They can come out and say, right, this didn't work, that didn't work, we've amended it. So what we're going to do is we're going to stream another game in June. It might have been a League One game, for instance. We're going to stream a game, whatever everyone to sign on it, check it all works. Once you've proven it works, then you can start to monetise it. But then they've given away a game free that we wanted people actually to pay to go watch. So no one paid to go watch it. And if that crowd, what did they give the crowd? 5, 6?
5,000.
We're not daft. Lee only holds 12,000, done it. 2 stands were shut, so that's half gone straight away. And the other 2 were half full. So yeah, I'm not getting 5,600 or whatever it was. So don't lie. We're not thick, right? You don't need to do that. So that comes out of it, right? We wanted people to go watch this game. They haven't done. They've watched it on the app that didn't work. So our pool of fans is quite a small one because we only invite fans that we like, that watch the game. We don't invite anyone else. We don't go out and get more fans. We just keep the ones we've got. And then we piss half of them off because the stuff that we've given doesn't work. So
Well,
straight away we're alienating the fans that we've got.
But according to the RFL, 100,000 people saw it, and
Right.
there were only minor issues with the app.
100,000.
Right. Has that been clarified? 100,000?
That's what apparently the RFL have told the trade newspaper.
That's brilliant. Well, that's good. 100,000 is
If
good.
that's right.
That's good. But what happens next with it? Because I would have liked
I
to have
think-
seen it. Had it have worked, you say, oh, well, look how good this is. We're going to stream the PNG games next.
Well,
the
they're going to
games
try.
there.
They are going to try, but that will depend on the signal coming out of PNG
Right.
and the strength. Because the Australian Prime Minister's 13 went there the other week and they couldn't get a signal back to Australia to stream it live. In fact, I think Peter Beattie, the chairman of the Australian Commission, actually filmed it on his
Yes.
phone.
I think it's very foolish to try and promise anything from the England night stuff.
No, but
There
what
will-
I'm
there
saying
will be
is,
footage, but
where's
it
the
might not
plan?
be
Yeah,
live.
yeah, if we-
No,
if we could-
I think that stripping it right back to it worked for some people, it didn't work for others, it buffered for some, it didn't for others, the clock worked for some, it didn't work for us. What I think we should be saying is, why have we got to the end game being filming an international and not fully having checked all the technology and not having decided what the production team was going to be and not having decided what the graphics were going to look like. I think it goes back again to none of this is planned in advance. It's all a bit.
It's all written on
We'll give it a go.
It's all
right,
Matt Bassett, isn't it? It's on the back of a fag packet. We'll make it up as we go along.
We've got a bit of information. We'll do it a bit different next week. Oh, we've got a bit of information. We'll use a different team and a different production value and a different standard and a different definition. And the problem is that I don't think we've sat down and said this is what we want our media policy to look like, and it will end towards the end of the season with a defined way of putting material out there that we can charge for because it's so good that people want to pay to see it. There are competitions out there during the year where you could have trialled it to the point where you got to the final game of the season. It's an international. It's a Wednesday night, not convenient for everybody. Well, it would have cost you 10 quid to get in, but for 3 quid you can watch a live stream of it or whatever. And that is a responsible way of looking at it. I'm not sure we're there yet. I'm not sure we've gone down that. Now everybody's filming everything. You know, having been at the press conference today, and we'll do it. We'll put some footage up on Forty20 during the week. Everybody's streaming everything.
Everyone's a
But
broadcaster.
there isn't
now.
a policy.
Everyone's a broadcaster.
I've got to say, because people were saying this on social media on Wednesday, stroke Thursday and Friday, and I've got to keep saying this because people aren't listening. You should listen to me. Free sport is not the answer. I've got their figures in front of me for how many people watched the channel last week. The most watched thing was live ice hockey, 70,000 people. Below that, less than 20,000 people for most programmes. They are not the answer. What number is it on your Skybox? 424?
422.
422 on your Virgin, it's 535 or something. It's not on every Freeview box, despite what people will tell you. People flicking around TV, and this was the point we made last year with the World Cup and England moving from BBC One to BBC Two. People will flick through a certain number of channels until they get bored of flicking through all the channels and just watch any old crap. That's what people do.
That's
Go on CFAX with his telly. So you ain't going to get people going up to channel 422 or 535 and oh bloody hell, rugby league's on, I'm going to watch this. We've got to get out of this mindset because we're desperate as a sport for attention. We want people to come and watch rugby league, come, we're great, yeah, we're the greatest game, blah, 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 blah. So we throw everything on tin pot TV channels, which you remember took off Tonga, New Zealand in the World Cup last year to put on football. Which
New Zealand, Peru.
We
the one game everyone wanted to watch, one on. Yeah, I get that, yeah.
We attach ourselves to journalists who, lest we forget, on the eve of a rugby league season launch, published their thing on TV which pretty much slagged off the whole of rugby league.
Yeah.
But because he says something nice about rugby league, we've got to latch on to him. We need quality coverage. This programme tonight may not have passed that threshold. But we can't just be going, oh, we've got to get on TV. We've got to get everything on TV. We've got to be sensible. We've got to have a policy. We haven't got anything because we're sticking on the bloody, no disrespect to any other place in the northwest counties or whatever. I don't know if anyone reads the amateur page in the League Express. I don't. Most people won't, will they? What's the point of putting it on telly, on the Our League app?
I don't know.
What's the point?
I don't know. Is this where we're at? Is this where, have we gone from doing nothing to doing too much, but actually there's no quality threshold on anything that we're doing, or no purpose to it, no end game?
I think that's the. I mean, to me, it starts again after this series. We have got now an international series on terrestrial TV. So for the next 3 weeks, all we should be worrying about is watching England and New Zealand, trying to get as big an audience into the ground as possible. If you didn't know the games were happening, they're in Hull, Leeds, Liverpool. Please get a ticket. I think you'll be regally entertained. The Kiwis have got a really exciting squad under a coach that has reinvigorated them after their poor World Cup. England and New Zealand games are different to England and Australia. There is a less of a there's a great rivalry, less of a hatred because it's not the Kangaroos. So it's a very different sort of game. Very, very physical, Gary will tell you, but very enjoyable to watch, I think. And for people who aren't bespoke league fans, if they turn that on, they will get value for money. So let's focus on that. Now, around that, I think some of the European Championship games are going to be streamed, which again, I don't think has been fully decided yet on who's going to stream, but some of those will be on the BBC Red Button, I think. So for the next 3 weeks, let's concentrate on international.
You think you're part of this European thing, and you think it's going to be on? You are. You're working that thing,
they are
and you think
they
it's
are-
going to be on. Is that good? Is that acceptable?
No, but what I've said for the next 3 weeks, let's get on some international rugby league, onto some channels, celebrate that, because internationals is what sells this game. And the first thing with the blank sheet of paper that Rob Elston has once the season 2018 is finished, and we don't count the Boxing Day friendlies. Your media policy, your streaming policy, has to be one of the first things you look at. How much money are you going to devote to it? Who do you want to do it? What channels do you want it to appear on? What quality threshold must be a minimum before you give a license to somebody to broadcast it?
Fair enough.
Is the test match, is it BBC One or BBC Two?
Both. I think first one's on second two on BBC Two.
Right, okay.
And the problem is, of course, it's the World Senior Snooker Championship, so lots of people will go to that instead.
Is Dennis Taylor playing? And Nigel
Bond with
Bond?
his glasses on the other way around.
And Nigel Bond? Is he playing?
Bond has to have Bond gear.
Yeah.
Apparently Facebook's broken.
Yeah.
People keep phoning us anyway.
Okay. Well, it works fine on my phone.
Buffering.
Anyway, so going back to the England then, and what we expect from this. Have you heard anything about crowds for the opening Test match?
No, there's nothing been put out about anticipated crowds. I think there is a concern that the stadiums will not be full. So now we need something really concerted this week to build up, certainly the first testing hole. They've got a bit of time to sell on the back of that. But the last thing that the sport needs and the BBC need is to see a half-empty stadium.
I say though, fellas, before the game kicks off, in 4 days' time, then we've got Ellen Road the week after, so Liverpool the week after, then Ellen Road. Should we not be putting up the full house signs up now? Should that not be already done?
I think you have to spend something on marketing, and I'm really not sure what budget.
Because as I say,
if I was defending the RFL, I'd be saying all of the Super League civil war that's gone on has taken every resource away from promoting these games. Now that may be just a consequence of where we are and what we're doing and how we need to go about things. But this day and age, you have to spend money on marketing, and we clearly haven't. We clearly haven't.
Well, I say I was in Hull, as I said earlier, and speaking to somebody who works at the Hull FC, and they said no, there's nowhere near a sellout. That can't be right, can it? Can't be right.
Well, if they work there, they're going to have more of an idea than we are, obviously.
What I'm saying is an international game. Surely, what does it hold the cake on? 25,000.
Yeah,
But also, we're playing.
Surely we should get
we're playing in
25,000 for a
stadiums.
test match.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Because we're playing in stadia that are relatively small compared to the fact that, and we're not comparing sports, but the NFL easily got 85,000 this week.
Well, they got a record crowd, didn't they, for the first one?
And Rugby Union will be selling out all their autumn internationals at Twickenham and Cardiff.
Well, I said the other week. Rugby Union got 40,000 at Twickenham for a club game. For a club game, a regular
But
season
they
club
spend
game.
money on marketing, and we don't seem to have a marketing budget. So whatever is being paid to whoever, something needs to be allocated to promoting this, and it has to be done at international level, I think.
Okay. Richard Stratton mended it. He's broken it. However you're watching Facebook, he's broken it. Look at what a sight that is. Him on your big TV screen. You listen on the podcast anyway. Download that. At iTunes, we have a few technical glitches, these things happen. They're sent to try us, a bit like Scully really. We thought we'd done our penance with him, but sadly not. I want to talk transfers after 7. Quite a lot of big breaking news. Leeds have been busy. Let us know what you think about that on Twitter at Forty20 Live. We talk about media policy. I'm hearing that there are now going to be the duplication of roles has started following the split between Super League and the RFL. That we're going to have a media manager for one, a media manager for the other. Is this money going out of the game that we can't afford to lose, Phil?
It's not money going out of the game.
It's
your limited pie being split by even more ways. That's the worry. The over duplication of resource is fine in a sport that's got resource. If you haven't, then it does seem to me it's going to be so difficult to define where roles begin and end. Two of everything when you haven't really got enough for one of everything just does seem to be a waste. I'd really like to see Super League issue a plan of where they think the sport is going and what staff they need, where this is going what it's going to cost, where this money is going to come from to fund it. You know, are there new sponsors coming in that are going to fund these positions? If so, fantastic. I think we noticed that on the England board behind the press conference today, Trojan Workwear were up there. Well, I don't think it's been announced yet that they're one of the sponsors. Well, hopefully they're bringing enough money that they'll pay for some of this marketing that we need to spread their name. But at the moment, a sport that is what, £2 million in debt in a governing body. Bradford have announced a loss of over £500,000. We said Huddersfield £1.5 million, Wigan 600,000, Warrington 350,000. You know, when you're announcing this level of debt, how can you duplicate your staff?
Worrying times. Lots of people getting in touch on YouTube. I guess I should look up there for that one. Let's go through some of these. RS of Tonga are chomping at the bit for a rematch after the semi-final. It does sound, Scotty, like Tonga are going to join in with New Zealand and Australia, and it's going to be England really that are going to miss out on that.
Oh yeah, we've had it now, and again, it's not just England as a nation, but the players and all, because at the end of the day, you want to be playing international sport, whichever sport you're playing, and you want to be going to different parts of the world. Or if Tonga are coming over here, letting. Because I was at that semi-final last year, and I can reassure you, you'll never experience anything like it. Phil was saying on the television, he felt as though he was in the ground, and I said, Phil, I was there last year, and the hymns and all this sort of thing, it's just a different sort of this word again, culture, what they bring. And I would imagine if Tonga was going to announce that it was coming over here next year or the year after, the people who live over here, who are Tongan, they'll be like, oh, I can't wait to see our heroes. Because one thing for sure what this Tonga Rugby League side are, they're a pretty good rugby league side. They're not just coming here to make up the numbers. What a market they can bring. What a market they could bring over here. And a new audience, because of the Tongan people, many, many thousands I would imagine who live over here, they would absolutely pack out the stadiums. So the sooner it's announced that Tonga now are part of the big boys, the better for the game.
Yeah, you agree with that?
I think there's no doubt that Tonga are going to play New Zealand mid-season next year. The worry is we've come up with a 29-week fixture list that means that we can't play anybody. There isn't an international window next year, so it's not really the fault of the international.
I thought going to New Zealand is Great Britain next October.
Yeah, but mid-season.
Mid-season.
We've lost that test match, the opportunity to play.
Well, why can't we find somewhere?
But there isn't a week in the season.
We
don't have an international break.
We have to make one. What we do, we just say, right, the best players are going to play international rugby league. You do without them for a fortnight. This is where we've got to be.
Yeah, but as a sport, we're not prepared to do that, because as a sport, the chairman are not prepared to play games to allow more games internationally.
I think there is something you can do, and obviously the fixtures aren't out yet. I think the draft ones are with the clubs, but they've not been formally announced yet. If we have got a Lions tour, and let's hope that is announced formally in the next 3 weeks, and it may well be that it includes Australia or it doesn't. Wayne Bennett was absolutely convinced today that it does include Australia, even though there's some rumours going around that it'll be PNG, Tonga, Samoa and New Zealand. Wayne Bennett is convinced that Australia are in there and they do want to play Great Britain. But if Great Britain goes as England currently is, how do even they market it down there? So what we should be doing is we've got one weekend in June next year, is we should be having a double header which acts as a tour trial. So we should be going somewhere like Dublin. We should be playing as full a strength Ireland team as we can get against England. We should be playing Wales against Scotland. And after that, we pick the British Lions. Now, I don't know if it's too late to put that into the structure. We're already overburdened with the number of fixtures we've got, because don't forget the playoffs next year have more games in rather than less if you've got a top 5. But I would love a tour trial. You wouldn't have played in a tour trial, but we used to have them. And what would be wrong with fixing it 6 months in advance in somewhere like
said the probables against the possible.
I'd have Scotland, Ireland, England, Wales all playing on the same afternoon in the same venue, and after that we pick Great Britain.
Has all that been demeaned, because we've got players pulling out of the Scotland squad because they've had a long season, they're injured, they need to get fixed up because they're going to be back training a week after the series finishes.
Absolutely.
Again, we're not actually helping to build our own game, are we? And it's the greed of Super League is to the detriment of the international game, but yet a strong international game makes Super League stronger but no one seems to get that.
As I said earlier, Mark, the clubs have to be told, the Super League clubs have to be told, the international game is bigger than what the club
But
rugby
who are
league
they going
is.
to be
It's
told
simple as
by?
that.
And this is the problem, that when you have separate administrations,
Well, we've got
who are they going to be told
well,
by?
we've got a Rugby League International Federation, and to say to everybody, whether it's Australian clubs, New Zealand clubs, or England clubs, whatever, they have to be told the international calendar is far more important than what the club calendar is.
I mean, Richard and I spoke to Sean O'Loughlin, Stephen Ratchford today, who obviously were involved in the last game of the Super League season. They both admitted that they were pretty much mentally and physically exhausted, but the thrill of pulling on an England shirt, you can do it for another foot. We shouldn't be asking our players to do that.
No, I totally agree.
It shouldn't be the other way. It should be the other way around.
Lots of people getting in touch. I'll come through some of them. We've got a Rich in a minute. It's his birthday. We don't know we're working. The lad looks stressed out. He looks 5 years older than when the show started. Sheila said, tried to get tickets for Anfield. I hope it's nearly sold out because we couldn't get any apart from the really expensive tickets. If it's not sold out, it's a shambles because the tickets were shown us for sale, but no, I couldn't get through to buy them. Must have kept trying for over an hour, but gave up. The RFL website is not the easiest to use. I have to say, I've had that problem when I tried to buy some tickets for the grand final. I didn't think it was an easy use. And that's going to put people off, Rich.
I'm not sure many ticket websites are that easy to use. So I think we're in the same boat on that one. But people are always going to look for try and get the cheapest tickets, aren't they? And how people are going to pay 55 quid to go watch an international? Probably not. So the concern is, and I kind of alluded to this in a previous place before, how many people actually are waiting until the
We
week
get a group on.
and then there's a cheaper ticket deal?
Mm.
You know, we've had
It's
people,
a worry.
we've had lots of people today asking us, you know, why aren't they selling tickets for the Challenge Cup final yet? Why haven't they announced the Magic Weekend yet? Despite the fact everyone seems to know when it's on.
Yeah, but again, that's forward thinking, isn't it? If you want a crowd, you tell people now. And this is where they don't realise, is like people that have got normal jobs have to book their holidays now.
But
if they want to get a weekend off, they've got to book the weekend
Absolutely,
now.
well, you know yourself, you work to a diary, don't you? You know,
Yeah.
everybody carries a diary. And for 12 months, and they want to put these things in a diary.
Yeah.
So they want to plan early.
But
Why don't they
also-
plan early?
I think there's another aspect to this, that people have a limited amount of money for leisure time. If they can't spend it on a ticket now when they want to buy it, they'll use it to buy a ticket to something else. You know, we've said that if they've done any advertising at all, it's to the core rugby league audience. If the core rugby league audience can't get on and order a ticket, they soon become the non-core rugby league audience.
Well, for instance, today I applied to join the ballot to get a ticket for the Ashes Test at Headingley. I got an email today saying I've got 24 hours to pay the money, and you're talking 70 quid a ticket. I've got to pay it, because if I don't want it, someone else is going to buy it tomorrow. So I've got my email, and now it's on my toes. If I want to go, I've got to outlay, I've got 4 tickets, 300 quid's worth, that I'm not going to see until next, I don't even know when it is, July, August, I don't even know when it is. You've got to put that money up. They've got that, Yorkshire will be laughing. In a week's time, their bank account will be full, the game's sold out.
That's what
Don't even need to do anything
That's what
else.
Rugby Union do, don't they? They get everybody money's in, and then when all of a sudden, oh, do you know, we've got 500,000 people here who want to go, but we have to send their money back. But all that money's getting interest.
Yeah.
It's forward planning, forward thinking. It's not hard to do, is it?
And we went, again, I'm talking, I'm assuming it's at Newcastle Magic Weekend.
Well, that's what everyone seems to think.
We bought
Well, 1st and
tickets,
2nd of June.
went to Ed Sheeran, sold out. But as part of the ticket, I didn't realise it at the time. You know what it's like at Newcastle. There's big bars everywhere. And I mean, you know, like nice bars, you can go in and have a beer if you pay a little bit more for your ticket. If you go to the football, you pay a bit more, you get in a bar. Why don't we say, right, first 2,000 people who buy a ticket, you're all welcome in here, come in here. Nice bar, comfy bar, come in, have a drink, you know, whatever. I don't see anything like that. I don't see any incentive to buying tickets for anything RFL. You know, they go to Anfield. Anfield must be an amazing ground. I've never been in the new stand is amazing, right? But there must be facilities in there why we can go, right, come on, everyone gets a ticket. First 5,000, everyone's in, or you get a free woolly, or whatever.
That's
There
what
must
it
be
usually is,
something.
isn't it? Usually it's a free hat or a scarf or something, or one of the.
But is that happening? Is that happening?
No, because I bought tickets, haven't I? They haven't arrived yet, but for the test at Ellen Road. The advertising thing is interesting, isn't it? Because obviously we have to spend money to advertise. People have mentioned, we've mentioned earlier, the NFL crowd. They have not just one, but I think 2 weekly adverts on the telly for their games coming up. In fact, they've got a nationally broadcast highlights program, which we don't have. It's interesting, actually. remember the start of the season, all those years ago, when we poo-pooed, we need to talk about Dawn's tweet actually about poo-pooing stuff in a bit, about the brilliant advert with the Brownlees. Of course, remember they draw big crowds in
Ralph
Leeds.
was delighted with that.
Well,
Ralph was absolutely delighted with
the
that. He was made up with it.
Brownlee brothers are loved in Leeds because they come and run around and cycle around the city for free, so people come out and watch them because they don't have to pay. Have you seen the advert recently on Sky for the upcoming Rugby Union International Series?
I think so.
Which shows clips of international rugby union people doing international rugby union things and not just kicking for touch, actually scoring tries and doing line-outs and all those
Is
other
it
rugby union
archive
things.
footage?
It is. It's all in black and white. I think was on it.
It's like our 18 video. It's the same try, but just paste different heads on it every time.
They've got,
Will Carter could have been on. He never got any passes from Rob Andrew. Well, he would kick it.
but they haven't got like the, I don't know, who would be the southern equivalent of the Brownlees? Paula Radcliffe, I don't know.
Yeah,
Running
whatever.
around and telling you, they're showing the actual sport. Why can't we do things properly? It's none of these things are difficult.
No,
None of these things are difficult.
no. I've not seen the Burgess hit on Moi Moi. Is that not one of the most iconic, recently, most iconic things that happened in that test match? Is when Moi Moi steamed him and Burgess flattened him.
Even the heartbreak of the Watkins ankle tap. Play on it.
Yeah, that's
You've got
it.
to
Build
see
it up.
incentive.
Sean Johnson's try at Wembley.
Even
Yeah.
the Tonga no try in the semi-final. Anything like that, we've got the footage.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure that
Best
the BBC will do a great montage before each test match. But it's too late then.
Yeah, but that needs to be out a month ago on social media.
Yeah,
You know, the Kiwis are coming,
Yeah,
get your
exactly.
ticket now.
Yeah,
It don't have to be hard, does it?
No,
Just keep
no,
putting it in
no.
someone's face.
Exactly.
I'm going to try restart Facebook again, so apologies to all our Facebook
Get on
people.
YouTube, that
All
works.
there now.
Yeah, get on there. They're all
Mark's
there.
concerned anyway because he's hearing the summer bash might not be in
Blackpool.
Where might it be?
I don't know. You'll
Halifax.
probably
That's
know.
where they took the Northern Rail Cup.
Coventry. You got a Coventry?
Take it to Skegness. Skegness is a good place.
Have they got a stadium there?
Good place, Skegness.
Play on the beach.
Oh, it's beautiful to get
Play on
some
the beach.
skigging.
We'll find somewhere.
Toronto.
Just because Dawn's mentioned it, and I'll mention something about Salford later. Lockers poo-pooed the rumour of moving to Rhinos. We copped out and didn't ask him.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't poo-poo the rumour, did he? He admitted he'd had an offer.
We
He
got-
admitted he'd had an offer.
We don't have thousands of hits, we're not bothered anymore.
We didn't say he would sign. We said that he had been made an offer to leave Wigan and join Leeds.
Is the tea ready? Did I say enough?
I don't know, all the
7 o'clock,
Facebook
it
people
should
going,
be.
All the Facebook people,
Seven
you
bells.
can't. Biscuits and tea,
Donuts.
donuts.
It's all like musical. Is this mine?
There you go. This you don't get this on the telly. do you? You don't get this on the telly. Get your voice down, legend. Come on, what's happening? You don't get this out of the podcast. Lots of people getting in touch regarding this and asking why can they not go to their local club and buy tickets? Can they do that? And if they do that, do you get a value out of? If you got Wakey or Cast, do they get £5 for you buying a
They're not
ticket?
selling tickets.
Why not?
Exactly. Why not?
So
Would it
where's
not make
the
sense?
one place that rugby league fans probably go more often than not
Their
is
own.
their own club?
Well, and would not the clubs like not only the chance of maybe a small percentage of that ticket price, but get a fan in? You might be able to sell them a season ticket or a bobble hat or a present for auntie or whatever.
Yeah. David's gutted he can't go to the K-Con for the first test. He said shift work. Happens to us all day. I can't, I'm working, I think I've only got one of the three.
If any of the chairmen who do listen to this programme could let us know if they were approached and asked if they wanted to sell tickets,
Okay.
that would be handy.
Martin says, agree with Phil, not seen one advert on the BBC advertising the games that they're covering for the next 3 weekends. Marching on Together said BBC don't care about rugby league, simple as that. I think that's a bit
No, I
harsh.
think they do.
I think they do.
There are
but-
certainly some people in there that really fight the corner. for
Exactly.
rugby
Well, yeah, but is that not the worry? If those people
Yeah.
just went, I'll say I'm retiring next week,
Absolutely.
would then we fall off the face of the
I
earth?
think it's safe to say that Michael Burke, who did the Water Splash final, did the documentary piece before the Challenge Cup final when he went to Catalan, and there was the historic piece about French Rugby League. He's planning on doing something about the centenary commemorations at the end of the First World War, because we've got the armistice test. I think they really do, and they're producing some quality stuff. but you've got to tell people before it comes on to watch out for it, and that's that does cost money, and we're not naive enough to think we can't go to the magic money tree, but you have to allocate some of your budget to telling people that your events are out there so you can get some ticket money to fund the next event.
Yeah, I'm going back quite a while here, so apologies for some of these. We had a problem obviously with the camera when Rich didn't set it up properly. I mean, if it wasn't his birthday, I'd be thinking about getting rid of him if I'm honest. But David, Locklane RL said, have RFL taken over the feed? Brian says, has a camera fallen over? What's happened? So thanks for letting us know that we'd fallen over. Apologies for
Hopefully
that one.
you can still hear us.
Yeah, no, you can still hear us. KPW said if players not playing should be with the Knights, does that mean England should only have a named 17-man squad? You need more than that for a series. I do really, I get your point, and I do. Obviously, they need subs and they need things, but here's a question then, right? All right, we expect Gilda and Percival to start centre. I don't want to wish any of them ill. Say one of them is ill, for instance. Nothing wrong, just feel can't play, get upset tummy, can't play. Who plays at centre? Bateman or Reece Lynn?
I think under Wayne Bennett he'd probably move Bateman back there.
There you go.
I think
So
he
that
probably
answers my question. I feel
Well,
that
I
answers
don't
my
think
question.
this is doing Reece Lynn any harm for the first time to be in the senior squad. Even for the fact that he can see his progression. I think as a player you want to aim at the highest level that you can, and if being around the Wayne Bennett and the England squad for 3 match series against the Kiwis is as a player a greater it's not an experience, because the experience you get at PNG will be absolutely invaluable, but you're higher up that pecking order.
Oh no, I get that. But would it
If
not
I'm
be
the-
better to say, right, Reece, you're playing for England against
Well,
France, then you're going to say how you get on in PNG?
But I think they did that with half a dozen of the players, didn't
Okay.
they? What Reece Lynn needs to know, like the rest of us need to know, is when is the next full England international?
Yeah, no, I agreed. Warren said the crowd was abysmal on Wednesday. Paul says, he's just found us. Rich read that one out earlier. He said, if you get a chance, ask Scully why he didn't sign for Wigan. I supported him when he was playing. I didn't know about his story. Well, he basically turned down 4 times the money to stay at Leeds because he's a mug, quite frankly. No other word. There's no other word for it, right? He's a mug, right?
Misplaced loyalty, wasn't it?
Just think, misplaced loyalty.
Well, no, well, to say, to be honest with you, I'd say if that Pratt Lawton would have been open and honest with me and said, listen, Scott, I can't work with you. I'm going to make your life hell for the next 5 years while I'm here. Then I would have gone. And as I said before, it would have broken my heart to leave Leeds, and it would have broken my heart to go back to Headingley, turn left into the away dressing room, and rip Leeds apart by creating tries, scoring tries, and seeing that Pratt Lawton in the home dugout. So.
Wouldn't you just like to get him sacked though? Go back to
tried.
8 tries and get him sacked.
I tried to get in the sack.
No, I mean by playing for Wigan and humiliating him. Anyway, that's the story.
That's history.
4 times the money. There you go. What does it get you? Nothing. Warren says the RFL, a majority of club chairman, stuck in the past. The game will die if things don't change. Harvey says how to promote the game is simple. Put the players into school, get kids interested. Why was the game in Lee? He asked last week. It's fair enough.
What I don't understand, I can understand a northwest venue if that's what the coaching staff wanted.
But why is the obsession with having it at a ground
Well,
that is not going to benefit?
So
If Lee is skint right and we'd have held it
Yes,
at their ground
exactly.
and they get 50 grand bar takings, brilliant. Let's go.
What I was going to
Yeah.
say, I think because the Knights were due on a flight out of Manchester early on Thursday morning, that mitigated against a Workington. But we should have played it at Warrington, because at least then the money is staying in rugby league.
Yeah, I agree. Anthony said, here come the Groupon offers. People don't like paying twice. TV licence and a match ticket. No chance for us tight northerners. Also taking 2 games to football grounds is a put-off. Problem is, Anthony, all right, we'll say it. We'll play them at rugby league grounds. Where are we going? Leeds, obviously. That's the marquee rugby league ground in this country by a country mile. Where else are we going? Cass? Warrington?
I think
St Helens?
there is another issue here, I think, that we probably have missed. Why are we going to 3 northern venues? Surely one international has to always be played in London. But if you're serious about getting a new supporters, if you're serious about spreading out the fact that Sky keep quite rightly telling us that half of their audience is not from the north, it's from the south. If you really want visibility and profile, if you want adverts that people will see who don't normally go to rugby league games, you have to take one of these test matches to the south of
Where
England.
would you take it? You can't take it to Wembley, can you? Because it won't get anywhere
Yeah,
near.
but why? What? And again, look, I don't know how feasible this is, right? Why do we not say to Arsenal, we want to
That's
take
what-
a game? What a stadium that is!
And not only that,
And if you're going to pay for the expense of going somewhere like that, you
go somewhere
I'll tell you what,
you've
go
never,
somewhere I've
go
never been.
somewhere you've never been.
Yeah,
Exactly.
maybe the
Absolutely.
Tottenham ground might be somewhere. They want to host NFL games. Maybe they might host an England.
Well,
an
and
England
I know
game.
this is another thing that you may or may not be able to do. But those 84,000 people that were in London this week, did we leaflet them as they came out?
No. Well, I say no. I wasn't there. I don't know, but I,
Well,
I can bet I can have a good stab at the
So
answer.
don't you try? You know, we have a major final at Wembley. Now I don't know what the NFL produce as a program. I don't even know if you've been to the game. Do they do a program? Can you buy a program?
I'm pretty sure there was a brochure of some.
So why don't we
description.
take out an advert in that?
I've no idea. TA says, does anyone know anything about the structure for the Challenge Cup next year? I.e. what round people coming at? No idea.
It's not going to change.
Why aren't the RFL selling 2019 Challenge Cup final tickets yet? Alan said it's a shame the RFL didn't buy the old Main Road ground years ago. Could have put all the major games on there and all the money would be going into the game and not to football clubs wasting money. Toby said, did Phil just say Warrington are in debt? I think no, you said they'd lost money, didn't you? Did completely different statement.
I think they lost about £300,000 in the last financial year.
Yeah. Delboy said, any thoughts on the reported crowd trouble after the Australia-Tonga game? Not good for the game. I've not seen anything about that. Alan says, lol, Warrington in debt. They've just bought Danny Walker from Witness. He never said they were in debt. Listen, he said they had lost money. Now, I know Simon Moran is a very rich man and can afford to cover any losses.
Yeah.
If only every club had a Simon Moran, we might be in a better position. But that's not the case.
Their trading position for the last financial year
They
was
lost
they did
money.
not make money.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they are in debt.
The sad thing is, if they'd have had a receipt for Tyrone Roberts, they could have taken that when they broke even, and no one would have been any worse off.
And they've signed Blake Austin, who is a marquee player.
They have indeed.
Oh, we've broken Facebook.
Oh, you've knackered it, have you?
Yeah. So
No,
set
well,
people-
never mind. Never mind. Get on YouTube.
Phil,
People are there.
people not listening to what Phil said. This is like people not reading press releases and running off with exciting theories about what's going to happen. Because as we know now, Leeds Rhinos 2019 are not going to win anything because Richard Agar is not on the coaching staff. He's got a job doing something different.
Oh well, we'll go to that in a bit more. Peter said, Salford home games on Sundays. Hopefully crowds will increase. You know what? My first thought, this is how sad I am. My first thought was, great, Sunday rugby. And I thought, you know what that means? If then they're playing a team on a Friday, then games will be on Saturdays, and it just causes an absolute cock-up that teams don't play on the
Why?
same day.
Why on their statement did they say we want to move to Sundays?
By the way, that
Why
is not a criticism of Salford. I wish everyone played on a Sunday, by the way.
Why didn't you just say we're playing on Sundays? You take the decision on when your match day is.
Yeah.
Leeds don't come out and say, oh well.
Yeah,
we're
but you've
gonna
got to look after your fans and tell them how important they are and,
lie.
do that.
Yeah, got to remark.
So hopefully crowds will increase. We've had our say on Sunday Rugby League, Sky. I just
There
think...
should always be a game on a Sunday.
I just think, right, everyone plays on a Sunday, and I know that affects... The short term, well, we like our Fridays at Headingley. Fridays are good at Headingley. I've been on a Sunday, I actually thought it was even better.
It works for Leeds because the corporate that they attract prefer a Friday night.
Right.
And a Friday night under lights to start your weekend just works. And for some clubs it will, and other clubs it...
But then, alright then, so...
I think it works for Wakefield playing on a Sunday afternoon whenever they can.
Yeah, but it causes problems regarding the fixtures. So if you play on a Friday, should you be... it don't...
But it's the same for every sport now, isn't it?
So if then Leeds are going to Hull at Salford on Sunday and they're at home on the Friday, they can go, well, we don't want to fight, we want you to play on Saturday, we need to move it. Should that be said, no, if you're playing on Friday, mate, then you're playing Sunday,
Exactly,
that's
yeah.
your problem.
Yeah,
But
so-
also, we still have 2 games over Easter.
Yeah, but that's
so if you're going to play 2 games in 4 days, how can you have a different policy? You know, we either.
I go back to the TV thing. You have one game on a Thursday, one on a Friday. You share them round so that if you're playing 1 week on a Thursday, you might be on the Friday the week after. Then you're on Sundays for a bit and then back again. You know, if you've got a couple of short turnarounds, that's life. Agree?
As long as everybody is affected to the same.
That's my
manner.
point. If we all, but therefore to do that, we've all got to play on the same day. And
But
again,
the other thing to do, the reason to do that, if you're a broadcaster, is you've got to have an equality across the competition.
yeah. So you don't want to be watching Castleford or St Helens or Leeds every week. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. Or you don't want to be denying the chance to see certain teams because you don't, as a broadcaster, want to put them on because they're not really playing well enough to justify being on.
Well, I think the quality of what we've seen this year, and I'd even say maybe last year, is that a lot of them deserve to be on television. The quality of what we've seen, to be honest.
Yeah, but you could say that about some of the games involving the big clubs.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, that's
exactly.
what I'm saying. I mean, with all the big clubs, you know, this year, how many quality games did we see? I bet you can't say half a dozen, can you?
No.
If I'm honest.
Tony
Yes.
says this Thursday is the 40th anniversary of the last club team to beat the Aussies. Gone completely under the radar of the club that achieved that feat. As he's a Widnes fan, I'm going to assume it was Widnes, but I don't know. Stimbot on Twitter says the Brownlee advert reminded me of the result of some lame apprentice advertising task. It was so curlingly bad. The one with Bradley Wiggins, Sir Bradley, thank you Stimbot, a couple of years ago wasn't much better. Show big hits, spectacular tries, bit of biff, blah 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 blah.
Fair enough.
It's a tiny converted.
Warren said BBC does the rugby league better than Sky. I guess that's up for debate, isn't it? All tickets are through Ticketmaster. I went on the RFL site to get a £5 ticket discount as an R League member. So someone has been able to get tickets. Stop being so greedy. Clubs 11 games, home and away, magic, spare rounds, use internationals. Play France consistently. They'll improve as New Zealand did v Oz for the last 10 years. Are we in danger if we don't amend our season? Are getting cut adrift because it looks like Tonga, in my opinion, is just taking our place.
And Papua New Guinea will be getting better as well. Don't worry about that, you know. So yeah, we have to do something about it because, as we've said, with the Super League season, I would say for the last 3 years, the quality is slowly but surely getting worse and worse and worse. We need to be addressed.
But the issue is, as you said earlier, clubs need to release players to play internationals. Now, if they choose to play for Ireland or Scotland or they're eligible for those nations, they want to improve a lot of those nations. This is a big tournament, the European Championship, for World Cup qualification. So it's not as if, you know, it's England, it's Scotland, Ireland, Wales playing just for the sake of an international cap. There's World Cup qualification for these 4 teams, which is essentially big as the World Cup is here in 2021. How can you not release players that the coaches want?
Can I ask a question about that? Right, I know we keep getting tweets in about games in Serbia and in Spain. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Now those are taking place. Shouldn't those guys be the ones qualifying? Shouldn't Ireland and Scotland just be getting in anyway?
Well,
if we're realistic and want a bigger World Cup, a better World Cup, shouldn't we be putting them in anyway?
Anybody who made the quarterfinals last year is seeded and in.
Yeah.
So I think to then have a qualification process is absolutely right. I think you need to test how far Serbia and Spain and Russia have come.
No, I get that.
So
and places should be made available for them, but surely.
What's happening with the European Championship is that there are 4 nations playing over 3 weeks, and the top 2 of those will be straight to the World Cup. So I think that's a really equitable qualifying. But the other 2
this is a numbnut question now.
The other 2 aren't out. They go into another round of qualifying.
This is a numbnut question. Is it possible for Wales, Scotland, Ireland and France all to be at the World Cup every time?
Yes.
At the expense of whom?
Right, well, let's just say, for the sake of, we're trying to give an example, that after this 3 weeks, Wales and Scotland are 1st and 2nd in the European Championship.
Yeah.
They are qualified in the 2021 World Cup. France and Ireland would then go into a group next year that now includes Russia, Spain, either Malta or Norway, and they will be the top seeds, and Italy.
Is this not just typical rugby league?
So
Well,
they-
if you don't
no.
win, we'll give you another chance.
No,
Have another go next week.
But
lads.
I think that's right, because we then see at what level Italy, Malta.
Yeah, but are you not then saying to the lads like for Scotland, who they've pulled out? I was talking to Chris Chester the other day. The number of people that aren't available, he couldn't name a team. Yeah, but
I know.
if they go, well, it doesn't matter if we got to this year, because if we turn up next year
Got a chance again.
and we'll play Malta and
Well,
Russia,
if they-
then I'll do that instead. I can have this
But
year off.
they
It's
may
demeaning
be
it.
forsaking a chance to play for the British Lions. And this is where it
Cool.
needs to
Do
be.
me a favour.
But this is where it needs to be a concerted international policy, doesn't it?
Yeah, I agree with
Because
that.
we don't even know where the next European qualifying is going to be played. But I suspect it's the same time as the Lions go off to Australia.
I hear all these results, great, and I can watch the games online, brilliant. But I almost feel like Ireland are falling through the gap, if you know what I mean. I don't know.
But if Ireland have slightly changed they were brilliant in the World Cup 2017. Very, very. They were a fingertip away from beating PNG in PNG and getting into the quarterfinals. Which, had they got into the quarterfinals, they would have already pre-qualified. But that team has been dismantled by a change in Ireland Rugby League's decision, which is entirely theirs to do, to bring in more domestic-based players.
But was that decision made, not knowing there's no games or whatever? It's almost.
But they should keep that team together for this year to try and qualify for the World Cup.
Oh, well.
And have a selection, throw some of their guys in with a chance of playing for Great Britain when the Lions is reformed, if indeed the Lions are going to be reformed.
We need to talk about the schism in Canadian Rugby League later.
Do we?
We do. There's
Is
a
there?
schism,
Is there?
apparently.
Go on then. You
I was going to talk about
it
it now. Well, Nicholas sent me a message last night, and it's long, so I'll do the shortened version. The president of the Canadian Rugby League Association, Bob Jowett, proper northern name, used to play for Huddersfield and Bradford, Dudley Hill, he says here in the 80s, has called out the Wolfpack, Toronto Wolfpack, for talking about promoting the amateur game over here, but actually doing nothing. That sounds familiar. He's been beating his head against a brick wall with the team, asking for support, and instead they've been helping out Union, but not even the men's and women's National Rugby League teams. I've just thrown it out there to impress the Toronto people who don't like the Toronto people. So,
All right.
what is the point of Toronto? Same as every other club, to build themselves up, but not necessarily to sport. I don't know. Got any hats? We've got Toronto hats.
Fair enough.
Don's got transfer news for us.
Go on then.
Why are Huddersfield Giants chasing Scott Griggs? They need someone to not kick the ball out when they should do.
There might be someone going the other way on that one. A very
I
big
think-
name.
I think news
Yeah,
has
I've
broken.
heard
Has it? Danny Brough
Has it?
reported
Yeah,
to
Danny-
be joining Wakefield.
Wakefield.
Like Dick
Yeah,
Whittington, he's back for the third
Well,
time.
here's a question. Then. Let's discuss it, Scott. We finished fifth last season. We said they need to improve their squad. They've gone out and bought Craig Kopchak. Looks like they're trying to get in Danny Brough. Those two players are going to add to their squad, are they?
They are, but the situation's there then. Jacob Miller has been the main player. Can Jacob Miller play with Danny Brough?
Yeah, but they're two different players. Is Danny Brough not an upgrade on Liam Finn? But that's in the cold light of day.
Listen, mate, there's no doubt about that, but the fact of the matter is, Jacob Miller is the main player. He's the one who likes to take charge. So is that combination going to work? That could be just a bit of a problem for Chris Chester.
Well, Danny
To be
Brough and Lee Gaskell managed to get it going at Huddersfield, didn't they?
Well, I think what you found out from there was that the coach of Wolford said to Bruffy, when Gaskell wants to take charge, you've got to let him take charge.
Is it alright? Is it a gamble? Is it a gamble?
I think it's a massive gamble.
What, bringing Brough back in?
I do indeed.
Why?
I do. Because they've got a settled side, they seem to have a good team spirit from there. I think Bruffy could ruffle a few feathers.
Short-term deal, surely. I mean, he's 30, what is he, 35?
Something like that.
Nearly as old as you, Rich.
I don't know. Is he better than the other person who would be?
Also as well,
to-
let's have a look at the other player then. Rocky Hampshire, he signed there, he wanted to be the halfback from there. So yeah, this could upset the Wakefield position.
All right, well, here we go then. This is elite level sports going.
Yeah.
Is Ryan Hampshire, is he the player to get Wakefield in the top four?
No, I agree.
He's not.
No, he's
No,
not.
he's not.
No, he's
He's
not.
improved. I'll give him this, he's improved. He's better, a lot better than he was, and I mean that sincerely. I can see why they've kept him on. But that is a big leap, 5th to 4th. look, you know my feelings on Danny Brough. I think he went missing too many times at Huddersfield. And if I were Huddersfield, I wouldn't have offered him a new long-term contract or a new contract. I wouldn't have offered him it. I think they could have got better value for money elsewhere. But they offered him that contract. They seem happy to get rid of him, which I think is its own little reference, isn't it, really? But he will make Wakefield a better team. I think short-term, I see it's a win-win for me, for Wakefield. But
people were very excited because he's not a prop forward. Because Wakefield are just signing a team of props at the minute.
well,
That's pointed out by
got
John
big
Davidson
lads.
earlier.
You got
I'll tell you
big
what,
lads.
Kopchak will be a good signing. I like Kopchak.
Yes,
I like
very
him.
good
He will be a good signing.
That's another one we broke on this show a long time ago, but yeah, well. No.
So he's
Don't
definitely
worry,
signed,
listen.
does he?
Yes.
Yeah, done.
Well, Leeds not in for him? No? Should we not be looking at players like that?
I think they're casting their net overseas for,
Well,
with the greatest respect to Craig Kopchak, and even bigger names.
Well, hold on a second, right? Here's one for you, right? This is a serious question now, right? You've mentioned that. You listen here. Who out of the current Leeds pack
yeah.
gets in the Wakefield pack?
Mitch Garbutt if he's fit,
Right? One.
definitely.
The only player I would take is Adam Cuthbertson.
Cuthbertson,
Could
two.
do something different.
Parcell, obviously, three.
Yeah,
I think so.
But back rower wise,
Stevie Ward if he was fit.
would he? Would he? Is he better than Matty Ashurst?
I think he is when he's fit.
Is he?
The issue with Stevie Ward is he needs to put consistent on the games together.
You, Scully? Who would you rather have?
I wouldn't have too many changes to the Wakefield pack for the
For
Leeds.
Fita, he'd get in Leeds team, wouldn't he, if you did it the other way?
Mm.
Ashurst,
Oh, without a doubt. I said, yeah.
Are we starting
And,
Tinner our owner.
Tinner our owner.
Yeah.
We're starting from Fita to Leeds. Is that what we're
You'd
starting?
certainly prefer the Wakefield pack than the Leeds pack. There's no two ways about
So
it.
why they're not in for Kopchak then?
Because I think
You
they're
can't
trying-
buy 20 Aussies, you know. They've got to buy some English lads.
They did do back in our great friend
80,
stage,
84,
Mr.
85.
Jepson. Yeah, he brought everybody from Queensland, and that really made a balls of it, to be honest with you.
I'm looking forward to Danny Brough coming back anyway, because it always upsets a lot of
Are you
women.
going to get his name on your shirt?
I might do actually. It looks like a
On your
lot
Spider-Man shirt?
I
Yeah.
think in the short term, Danny Brough sparks a team.
Yeah.
I think every team he's been to, when he's arrived and he's got every motivation to be a fresh start, he does make a huge difference.
Will the Wakefield fans be happy, Rich, with Bruffy signing?
Some will, some won't, because they don't like him, because he leaves and goes to other clubs and stuff. Like every other player in rugby league. I can never forget after the 2005 or 6, whenever it was, National League 1 Grand Final, the one that Castleford beat Widnes in, and Widnes then went bust afterwards. It's almost like they gambled, promotion and relegation there. And Brough was the man of the match, keep them off the park. And in the press conference afterwards, he was crying because he had to leave Castleford to rejoin Wakefield because he already signed up. Poor Danny. But at least we won't have to worry about him going off on international duty at the end of the season.
No, you never know
Well,
about that, do
made
you?
for the British Lions. I've got some Leeds transfer news.
Go on then.
Here's Dawn again. Thoughts on Rhino possibly releasing Matt Parcell and Ashton Golding, and mention of Martin Tapau.
That's the kind of player they're looking at.
Who's Martin Tapau?
You'll see him when he plays for New Zealand against England.
Alright, okay.
So they've signed Conrad Hull.
Manly back row.
They've signed Conrad Hull. Finally, Leeds have
A
bought a
marquee
marquee player.
And they're
What
after
the
They're
hell?
after a second one.
What the hell?
Just wait till I sign Carol Decker to do this evening.
Hey,
There you go.
China
There
in.
you go.
So he's a marquee signing centre, is he?
And they're getting another one.
Martin Tapau.
There'll be a few. Excuse me.
I tell you what,
Gary.
Gary,
Gary.
can you just have a word
Sir
about
Ken.
Conrad
I'm
Hull?
sorry.
Gary, we're going, just go and see Richard A.
as I say, I watched the Tonga Australia game, and I saw the standoff who Leeds have signed as well.
He got 4 back-to-back sets of 6. Leeds haven't had that in a season.
Yeah, but he showed some nice. He didn't do it long enough for me from there. But I tell you what, he needs to get off the scoey diet, doesn't he? Because he's got a right podge on him, hasn't he? He needs to change his diet. He needs to get off the scoey
You'll
diet.
be alright with you down below. I've seen you in that kebab shop. He'll be there 4 nights a week.
He's
Keeping topped up.
He's got a belly like me and you, Mr. Wilson. You know what I mean? So he
Speak
needs
for
to.
yourself.
And he needs to keep off the bar. But have you seen the gut on him?
Just think what it'll be like after he's had a month off.
Honestly, he's
Him and Conrad.
he's got a tub on him. But yeah, I like the touch. He showed some nice touches, but he didn't do it long enough for me. So The jury's out.
Are we excited by Leeds' business? What I said the other day is it looks like finally they mean business. They've revamped everything.
Do you know
Behind
what
the
I like?
scenes, the team's obviously changing.
What I like is the fact that Conrad Hurrell has come with Gold Coast Titans saying we would have liked to have kept him.
Yeah.
We made him an offer, but he got a better offer from Super League. Right, I understand most people will hate the fact that it's Leeds, but we need to start hitting back. We need to be getting. He's 27. He's a current international. He's played virtually every week for Gold Coast. They wanted to keep him. We've captured a player on a 3-year deal that the NRL club wants.
Who's paying for this? Is this the new ground paying for it? I.e., they open again to get 20,000 every week, or is Paul Caddick putting his hand in his pocket saying
the board
Leeds need to sign
have
some
made
new
a
players?
decision that they're prepared to sign marquee players, which they've never done before.
I think it's exciting times, Rich. It's sad times for us,
Sad
obviously,
times for
because
us,
no longer can we take the mickey
Hashtag
out of
Leeds
them.
in crisis,
You know,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it is, isn't it? You know, they're going out, they're spending money, and they're going to be a threat again.
You want the
stars.
teams that are the best supported teams to be able to contribute something to the league. Like last year, Leeds didn't contribute enough. Next year, it should be more because of the calibre of player. That
So what do we make then about this then? Parcell, I haven't heard this Parcell on the way out.
I've not heard that.
Ashton Golden as well, I mentioned earlier.
I think Ashton may go out on loan for a year.
London, possibly.
Well, if I was London, that's exactly the kind of player. I mean, at the moment, London have been linked with 3 players from Leigh, which, with the greatest respect in the world, even though they've got Super League
Have they got any
experience,
left?
you know, and you know, Craig Richards was a great player with St Helens when they won the grand final, but he's been playing at Leigh. So I think London need to get some players in with Super League experience or with a point to prove. And for me, I'd be signing Ashton Golding on a year's loan.
Also as well, Phil, for us with Leeds, who's going to be the halfbacks? Who's going to be the generals?
I think they are going to go with Myler and Lola here as the first choice, with McClelland in reserve.
So why have they made all the big noise about it? Kevin was saying about McLaren, you know, he's ready to play for Steve football week in and week
I
out.
think he'll place them. I think they've got competition for places. You now look at the centres, and you know, as long as they're fit, it's the special K, isn't it? It's Callum and Conrad, and that'll put.
Is that your marketing?
Special K.
Is that
Go
your?
on,
We'll get some t-shirts.
Is that your marketing
spell
promotion
Kaplan with
now?
a K, Rich. I didn't know that.
Conrad Hurrell and Callum.
Yeah.
Conrad, Callum and Kaplan.
Is that, I'll tell you what, so,
Special K.
Phil, you want to get yourself to the RFL for promotion and marketing manager, honestly.
Just make sure they've got
Special
something
K.
else with a K as well.
I'll tell you what,
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, the halfback should get on special K, I can reassure you. Don't get on special kebabs, get on special K, that halfback, I can reassure you.
Terry,
Boy, oh boy.
oh, somebody's fallen over. Terry says we need to be more positive. Is there any chance of any positivity forced its way into the debate? I think we were there.
Right, all right, Terry, right. No, you can dictate right now the last half an hour. The last half an hour of this show. What do you want to talk about, Terry? Come on, positive. Well, we've just been positive about Leeds. That's how bad it is, Terry. We've just had to be nice about bloody Leeds.
Apologies to Ruben Wiki there, by the way.
He just had a cake.
Yeah.
I think don't misinterpret negative with constructive criticism.
Asking questions is not negative. It isn't. And it bugs me when people go, they're negative. We're not. We're asking questions. Like I said right at the start, if the RFL didn't make so many cock-ups, we wouldn't be able to question, would we?
On our, we'd have no show. On our advertising.
No, we would.
Andy says, what happened to the League of the Extraordinary?
That was brilliant.
Great ads not pushed enough. Add it to the ever-growing list of rugby league's missed opportunities.
What happened with the League of the Extraordinary was it cost a lot of money to produce that. And it was supposed to be a series of adverts, because you could see after the first one that they were about to hoist up the circus tent, and I think the plan was to at least have another 2 with the guys going on the field, but it cost a hell of a lot. But that's what you've got to decide as a sport, how you're going to market yourself. We decided that it was too expensive, so we didn't do any more.
Well, we get some other sportsmen. As been pointed out by Lot 17A, you know, we should be creating our own stars, not using other people's. Or if we are going to use other people's, like when Sir Kevin was nominated for Sports Personality of the Year, which he didn't win, obviously, despite the fact we all tried to fix it. They have the likes of John.
Right, the lack of people that are voting for the sports personality. George, is it George? Sorry.
Well, no, she's not one. She's not one. No, it was announced yesterday. This is why it's all gone wrong in the paper. Yeah, it was announced at the BBC Teen Awards.
Yeah, she's on the top for the issue.
No, she didn't win. No, it was the Paralympian, whose name I've forgotten. She won.
All right.
Oh,
get
we
the
already,
paper
have we already had
Yeah,
the
yeah,
award then?
yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's not part of sportsman.
No.
So I don't know where everyone got the. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, she get in the top 3.
that was good.
But yeah, so that's yeah. But we got some recognition for it, you know, so it's good. But she didn't win, which is a shame. But I've completely forgotten what I was saying. Yes, we need someone to get on. They're not going to announce the shortlist until the actual night this year. So
Good.
come on, someone do something in the test series and get in there.
Stuart said, is Mitch Garbutt leaving Leeds?
Not as far as I know.
No?
No.
Alan Siet was with us, beat Australia 11-10.
What year was that? 79.
40 years ago, wasn't it? Something?
I did the maths there.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah. That's that GCSE. Brian says, how excited am I that Danny Bruffy's coming back? He was his biggest fan back when he was in our academy team. Back when he got the, when he was no, what's that? There was, I'm always going to see Danny Bruff back because he's different and he offers something different and he's any good. I always get annoyed when people don't want him in the squad because they'd rather have a load of A triers and plodders or B people who don't do anything but are nice. It's like, just have good players. That's what we want. Not players who are
Wakefield top 4 next year then, Rich? You reckon?
well, I'm still getting them to finish above Cass. So still sticking with that.
Wakefield finish above Cass?
Yeah. Oh,
Is that your big call?
we had the Cass assassination on the way back from Old Trafford from the RSW.
Is that
You
your
know what?
call?
He's
Bottlers, big game bottlers.
You know what? He
Go
had
for
to
it.
go.
Sorry,
He had to
sorry.
go to hospital on his way home. He'd been rubbing his hands together that hard on the way
That's
home.
on fire.
Oh no, it was after Wigan, wasn't it? Oh yeah. Well, that's it. Cass are finished, and Richard.
So that's your big prediction.
Cass
yeah.
are
Wakefield
finished.
will
Every
finish
team-
above Cass.
Unless you're like Leeds, where you'll always come back, and Wigan, all the other teams at the bottom end of the thing, you have a short span where you can win something, and they didn't take the opportunity in the last 2 years. Done.
So your call now
We're not
is
signing
that,
it,
so
we're not.
your call now is that Casford are the big bottlers.
Are they signing anyone?
Huh? Casford are the big bottlers, is
Yeah,
that
we'll
what
go
you're
with that.
saying?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Big game bottlers. Yeah. Are they signing anyone new?
No, not that I'm hearing. Not that I'm hearing.
I think that there is going to be a domino effect in the transfer market that sooner or later, there's a lot of players who are under contract at the moment that clubs may want to move on. That until there's either a compensation agreement with the club that they're at or a club that needs them agrees to pay some kind of a transfer fee, it needs one move or a couple of moves
We've
to
not
trigger
had-
a lot of others.
We've not had the Doveway, and this is the salary cap where it hasn't worked, is we've not had the move where a Saints have gone, right, sorry, but we're going to have to get rid of James Roby because what we really need is a scrum half. So we're going to have to free up his wages to get a scrum half in. And that hasn't happened yet, has it? That, and I'm using him as an example, it could be anyone, but in the NFL, you get top players all the time. Oh, yeah, we've cut him, we just got rid of him.
Yeah.
Like, what is our best player? Yeah, but we need a better player in that position, so we've had to get rid of him. And it hasn't happened yet. And it will happen. It will happen.
But again, we were talking about Leeds up there, and he was released. And I didn't mind him, to be honest with you. I know he's had a couple of injuries over the last year or so, but Jamie Donaldson, what about him, Phil, for Leeds?
Again,
Did he do a job for us?
he just
What, about 26, 27?
it's just like you said, injuries have scuppered the best of his career so far. At Bradford, he looked like he could be anything, but he a bit like Stevie Ward. He needs to have a consistent run of games. At the moment, would it be a gamble?
Ward is miles better than Ashurst, says Marching On Together, who understandably is a Leeds fan. Scoria could still get in the Leeds team, says Roy. Hastings, Sion, Louis, good trio there, Peter. Hey, you bang on, Peter. Question is, who's the other 14 players you're going to pick? It's all right having all these players.
David wants us to go on the road, hire a theatre, stroke town hall, and sell tickets. As long as they've got the internet, that works.
Well, no, we have been invited actually. We are going to be going out on the road.
An Indian.
We are going out on the road.
So there you go.
We're going to make some kind of Papua New Guinea reference then, but you've got yourself in enough trouble.
Where
there.
we going?
We're going to change your Twitter password.
Where are we
and
going?
don't know what to do then.
Where are we
Yeah.
going?
Yeah,
That's
we're going to get on your Gmails on your phone and we're going to log you out of it. and we're
Where are we
gonna
going?
check
Can you
out.
tell us where we're going?
I don't know yet. I don't know. We haven't decided.
See, fans.
Let's go to Cumbria. Let's go up there.
Well, you try. You're
Yeah.
supposed to be arranging it, but as
Yeah.
normal, nothing ever
Let's go
happens.
to Cumbria.
I mean, hopefully I've not upset all the cast fans now by saying
I bet you have.
Well, you've
No,
not
you
upset them.
upset them.
saying to bottle 2 games. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the facts say, Rich. I'm
Yeah, I'm
sorry.
right.
The facts say you are right.
Well, to be honest with you as well, it's
I
in
mean,
the League
we've all
Express
been-
today.
yeah.
John Wells has come out with this statement. You know, he's done a piece, hasn't he, in the League Express saying, you know, we know mentally we're not there with the best of them, you know. So he's.
This is John Wells, who, mate, I had when who were Toronto were playing Widnes, wasn't they? And there were 6 in front. They had a kick in front of the post. He went, "Get in the corner." It's like, what? Is that the type of stuff he says to Darryl Powell? No.
Who's going to be the next witness coach? Gary, who is a Viking, says Gary the Viking, 'cause that must be his name, says there's rumours that Henderson is going to be a witness coach with Kev Brown as his assistant. TV's Kev Brown.
You know what? I don't know. I'm honest hands on that. I don't know anything about. I could see that happening. I could see that happening.
I think Andrew Henderson has ambitions to be a head coach.
Yeah, and that might be a
What, you
chance.
reckon he'll go back after leaving London? The good way did they go back? What?
Look, I'm not
Championship
speaking
wins?
for him. I just
Just saying,
I
I see
look
him
at
as a
the
head
work
coach.
he did at London,
Yeah, he did
and
great
then he
work
has
at-
laid the foundation,
Yeah,
he's rebuilt
yeah.
that club, and
Yeah.
Danny Ward has picked up the mantle and run on with it.
Correct.
I would imagine that'd be hard from going from being the main man to being the assistant. And Steve Price strikes me as a very determined character, and it'll be his way. I would have thought. I could see Hendo going back into coaching rather than being an assistant.
Well, I
That's
thought-
just how I see
Yeah,
it.
but I would just thought that Henderson, by leaving London and going to Warrington as the assistant working under Price, was he not said, well, after when Steve Price goes, you're stepping into his shoes?
No,
Do you know that
But
you know,
Steve Price, I
to
don't
that
think Steve
continue
Price
that
will be
sort of
going for a
formula?
while. I think if you want to be a head coach, you're not going to wait until the guy in front of you stays for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years.
But at the end of the day, Steve Price, he's over here to do a good job at Warrington. He's waiting for his next job in the NRL.
Yeah, but Des Hasler's just got the manager.
Des Hasler's gone back to Manly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
has he?
Yeah.
Your CFAC's not been working this week.
I haven't checked it for a couple
Today.
of days. I went out all day yesterday, wasn't I? So I've not really checked.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I've come out today. CFAX doesn't upload for another 72 hours.
Yeah,
And
Des-
certainly don't be
Des is
asking
back.
about my Gmail, is what?
Des is
So he's
back.
gone back to Manly.
Yeah.
Oh boy, oh boy.
A lot of
Well,
people upset about that.
I would have said,
Yeah.
well, there will be because the Manly have been shocking for the last, 4 or 5 years now. They've been absolutely boring to watch. And now Des has gone back, they'll be even worse to watch.
You never
Is that
know.
dire?
Marty Tapau might
Yeah.
want to leave Manly because of that.
So did they sack Barrett then, or did he just leave?
I think it was, you're not staying, but would you care to tender a resignation?
So Trent Barrett over here then, is he in for the witness job? Trent Barrett, do we know?
The witness job. The witness job.
Well, it's a rebuild.
Do me a favour.
He wants to be a coach for 20 years, so it's a rebuilding job.
What we need is someone with championship experience. It's Trent Barrett available.
Where's Jeff Tooman? Where's he gone?
Yeah, Jeff
Jeff
Tooman.
Tooman.
He's more.
Is it local? Is it local bar? Don't know. That's where Jeff
this
is.
was the excitement at today's press conference was Australian man asking Wayne Bennett and Michael Maguire would they be potentially going for the same job in the future.
What, the Australian job?
Club wise, no, they wouldn't answer.
Well, that's what was the question.
West Tigers.
Yeah, you're all
They've both been linked with West Tigers.
Yeah, John Davison told me a couple of weeks ago when Bennett's going to West Tigers.
Or will Michael Maguire go to,
There's another place.
to Brisbane?
Even though I'm in the Hall of Fame of the Balmain Tigers, another place I won't be getting invited if Wayne Bennett's there. Was he all smiles, Mr. Bennett, today? Was he good with the press?
Well,
He answered every question.
yeah.
Well, he asked some questions, but was he okay? Was he, a little
He's
bit?
Wayne. Wayne's Wayne.
We'd bring you the clips, but
You know,
they wouldn't take
Yeah,
it.
I saved my camera to speak to important people. Well, people speak.
Jesse Bromwich, which we've been told
Yeah.
he's now called,
Yeah.
was very good.
Yeah. Look out for that on
No,
social media next couple of
Bromwich
days.
Albion.
Yeah. He's a bit
Stephen
yellow.
Ashford.
He's a bit yellow, but yeah.
We got Stephen
yeah.
Ashford, who was good. And Sean
Sean
O'Loughlin.
O'Loughlin. Yeah. And John Davidson. I don't know how we secured him, but somehow we did.
Lockers is a captain, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be lifting the basketball shield.
I think we gave John Davison a sandwich, didn't we? He agreed
Yeah.
to be on.
Chips and everything.
Roy says special K more like snap, crackle and pop. Hey, go on, Roy. Get stuck here.
We'll get someone to Photoshop Leeds players' heads on the Rice Krispies box. We should get someone to do that. Martin's asked us because it is transfer season.
Yes.
There's nothing else is happening. Kyle Amor
Yeah,
leaving
been made
to Elves
available.
potentially. Some Wakefield fans wanted him instead of Craig Kopchak.
No.
Based on the fact they used to play for Wakefield, obviously. Not
Yeah.
That Reece Morgan as well said tells he's been shipping out. He's been shipped out as well, hasn't he?
Who's
That Reece Morgan, is it
Ryan
Reece
Morgan.
Ryan Morgan.
Ryan
Centre.
Morgan, the centre. He's been made available by
I think-
St Helens as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of players are available, but they're on contract. So somebody's got to break that down, and then
Well, if you're not rid of a player, you've got to
off.
facilitate the deal. That'll be why the
Or-
Brough thing will be
or the
taken away.
team-
He's just signed a new deal. He's
Yeah.
going to walk out, is he?
or the team that wants to buy him may have to pay a fee because he's under contract. But
Well, that
some-
depends if you're wanting rid or they're wanting
Yeah,
to buy.
somebody's got
There's a
to
difference, isn't there?
either pay the player or pay a
It's
transfer.
interesting that Leeds are going about their business as they are, quite publicly. They're going out and getting big names. You're just going to sit and wait and go, you need to get rid of some players. We're not going to pay for them. You're going to have to pay them off. Maybe they need to cut some costs now, because otherwise
Sure.
you're going to end up with a
They've
bigger
got,
squad.
They've got a fair chunk of salary cap, but they do need to release some players. Absolutely.
Why have they got a big chunk of salary cap?
Well, because Joel Moon's gone, Ryan Hall's gone. Some of the big earners at the top end have gone.
Surely Lahia will have taken up one of those wages.
But they're bringing in 2 marquee players as well. So
2 marquee players.
Yeah,
check
so
that out.
so see you lads. Yeah, 2 marquee players we bring in. All right.
We know free food.
Enjoy that one. Enjoy that one.
Yeah.
No
We
free
will.
food in the
Make it
cafe,
all
no.
make it all the sweeter when you come fit.
well, that's all right this year because you can win it
Oh
for
yeah,
fit.
6.
Yeah.
6. Sorry.
In the lovely new press facilities at the.
Oh, beautiful.
I
Can't
think
wait.
everyone's going to watch Yorkshire Carnegie to see them. Just
They are superb. You will love it.
Yeah.
Leeds-
Is there any truth in the fact that there was 1,700 at Yorkshire Carnegie watching the game, but actually 1,600 of them were just looking around the press box?
Sounds about right.
Leeds are going to have match day programmes this year, aren't they? Because I understand that some clubs might not, or are thinking about getting rid of them.
Tell you what as well, I know we're looking, we're just about the Inteska, but we look at the 2019 season, and in the league especially, it says the bookies have come out, they made St Helens favourites, Warrington, Wigan, Leeds. I think Leeds are 10 to 1 to win it. So they're even waiting for the Huddersfield out, but I have a sneaky feeling here, me for Huddersfield. You know the way they got,
Do they need
the
to
way,
sign some more
the way,
players then?
I think Wolf was pretty happy, and I think the players are going to get spot Wolf, and I think they could be knocking on the door next year on the top
No,
four.
I think they might be,
I
but
do.
surely if they're getting rid of Brough, that's going to free up a significant amount of salary cap.
Would you get drink water? Huddersfield?
I
I know he's asking for big money.
I was
but
going to
he's
say,
not-
I heard that he asked for 170,000
yeah,
quid.
well, he's,
A season.
Who's the
You know,
figure?
if I'd have said that, I'd have
Who's the
said,
figures?
hang on,
Unless you're
hang on, mate. 6 months ago, you were digging holes in Sydney, 30 grand a year. We'll give you 35, and you'll like it.
Does it think is the Lionel Messi Rugby League or something?
But you can't blame a player for
but
trying.
he's going to still be in Super League, isn't he?
I would
the,
hope
the
so.
team that I think, again, you haven't mentioned but might be involved, I think the Dragons will kick on from winning the Cup. You look at now that they've got Matt
Right.
Whitley, who I think is a great team. They're going slightly away from we want to be a French-based team, but
I like Whitley.
I like Whitley.
I like Whitley,
I think-
but is Whitley a Catalans type player? Because they're all big
Oh, Whitley from
brutes, aren't
Witness?
they? Yeah.
Oh, they're signed him.
I'm amazed that someone hadn't come in for him before.
Mm.
And fair play to the young man for sticking at
Yeah,
Witness.
yeah,
by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
No, I think
Are you-
he offers them something.
He's
different.
not like Kenny Edwards, though, is he?
No,
Or,
no.
a
we don't know if
Garcia.
we don't know if Edwards is coming back, do we?
Well, maybe that might be why.
But I
I
think
thought
I
he
think,
signed last week, Edwards.
I think when you
Not
add
on
in,
Ceefax.
you add in Tompkins,
Yeah.
Matty Smith, and Whitley to the team that's just won
Yeah.
Challenge Cup.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you can rule them out of being in the top 5.
Matty Smith, are you convinced with Matty Smith?
Yeah, I think he can do something further.
Yeah.
Behind that pack. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I think he can plot them around the field.
What?
Here's a thought, right? If Matty Smith had been fit, and my understanding he won't fit to play at the end of the season, would and
How
he'd
did he
have
get
played-
injured not playing?
I don't think he got injured. I think he
Right.
was. I mean, my sources suggest he might be on being on the SCOE diet.
Right.
Is what I had been
It's a
told.
bit harsh, isn't it?
Well, you said it yourself. So he wasn't. But would he have been a better option in the playoffs than Danny Richardson?
No.
Are you sure? Richardson was poor
I
over
don't
the
think
season. Really?
Richardson were rubbish, but no.
Matty Smith
After-
won Wigan. Got Wigan to the grand final a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
with the
because
team
of-
decimated by injuries.
Only because of the game plan what Wigan played.
After the Challenge Cup semi-final, there were quite a few people saying Richardson probably needed a couple of weeks off
Yeah.
just to refresh it. I'd have brought Smith in, then had the two of them.
Yeah.
Whoever plays best, you're in the following week.
Mm.
Brighton's pointed out on the people moving because of the salary cap. Sam Tompkins, moving Wigan to free up space.
I'll
I
ask
think-
you a question.
I think
Is
that's
that to
more-
free up space or save money?
I think that's more to do with the fact that he's on a marquee contract that they can't keep going.
I think that's saving money.
I'll tell you what, you just.
And I'll just jump in there. And I'll tell you why there were truth in that all Lachlan rumours, because we didn't get told off for talking about it, which we normally
Nobody
do.
denied it. Nobody
No,
But also
denied
as well,
it.
we mentioned Dan Richardson there. I tell you what, boy oh boy, is it a big season for him next year? Next year will be the
Second
season.
season syndrome.
With there's no two ways about it. Next year is going to be the season where yes, he can move to the next level, i.e., by taking St Helens to the grand final, maybe winning it, and then stepping up to the next level by playing Test football. Big season for Richardson next year.
Interesting.
And pulled out of the Knights, so he's got to perform.
Anything happen?
Have we got an under and over on how many games Wigan's big signing of the season will play for Wigan next season?
Who's this?
The man who will possibly be playing at fullback for them.
Mr. Hardy.
What's the difference between Zach Hardaker and Joel Tompkins? Zach Hardaker's worth more to the team.
The difference is Joe Greenwood.
Yeah, exactly. What did we make of that? I know we don't want to talk about it, but what do we make of the fact that Wigan, and in effect Ian Lenigan, has come out and criticised Leeds and Castleford for not helping Zach Hardaker through his troubles?
Was he criticising the clubs or was he criticising the support network around Zach Hardaker?
I would say he was criticising the club. I wouldn't imagine they'd have been criticising his agent when they did a deal with his agent. They were quite happy to deal with his agent.
I have no opinion on it either way. I just think
Is it not in poor taste?
they couldn't afford to let him go, could they?
Yeah, so does it not smack of double standards? Joel Tompkins offers to resign. It's easy to like someone's resignation score when you've got a better replacement waiting around the corner who you're going to bring in and go, oh yeah, thanks Joel, thank you, get yourself off. Yeah? If Sam Tompkins turned around tomorrow, or they turned around last week and gone, wife didn't want to go to Catalan, is there any chance I could come back? Do you think Zach Hardaker could still be at Wigan today?
Absolutely.
There we go.
That's him.
We'll get told off tomorrow.
It's business expediency. Zach is relatively cheap. And if he comes back as
Yeah,
the
but you
player
know when
that
you
he
buy a
was,
relatively cheap car, they have a habit of breaking
there's
down.
a risk. There is a risk attached.
There is a risk, that's an understatement.
I thought I'd put that in.
There is a risk.
You're being quite diplomatic there, Mr. Kaplan.
Dawn is embarrassed to be a Wigan fan at the moment because of said signing.
Well, look, you know, I'm sure when he's playing and winning your games, everyone will love him.
Do you know what? He won't be winning games for Wigan. He's going to come. No, he won't come back nowhere near the player what he was. And
You know, he's only been out a year.
it'll be nearly 2 years by the time he gets back.
Well, it'll be a year. He's missed a season. He's missed one season.
However length of time, he won't come back anywhere near the player. But also as well, another situation what Hardy's got to handle is when he goes to, not just when he goes to Cass and Leeds, the stick he's going to get from the opposition fans. There's going to be a hell of a lot
I'm
of
not being
pressure.
rude. I saw him go to Leeds with Cassidy. Didn't seem to have any problems.
This is going to be a little bit different. I can reassure you. Be a little bit different.
I don't think Zach Hardaker's got any issue. If Zach Hardaker lived his life on a rugby league field, I think Zach Hardaker would be fine. It's what happens when he's not on a rugby league field that's the problem. We all know that. So it might not be what happens when he's on the field. It might be what happens when he goes down the pub with his mate. And does he have the thing to say, I need to go home now, preferably not driving the car when I've had 6 pints.
But also, the question that wasn't raised, and I don't think we should spend too much time talking about it anyway, decisions made. Why did he think it was okay to drink when he's just started pre-season training in Wigan, with Wigan, and he's trying to impress?
Well, look, we're not going to talk about it, but people say to me, well, he's ill. All right, I get that. Did his illness make him run away from the police, or was that he's just him being dishonest? Let's move on. Look, I said what I said when he came back. I hope he's a success, but already he's blotted his copybook. And he's a fine player, no one can deny that. He still is. Players miss a year all the time. Michael Shetland missed a year. It didn't impact him when he came back.
In fact, it might with the niggles that most players carry.
Michael Shetland, anybody else who has knee problems or whatever, hasn't been out of the game through drugs and alcohol. There you go.
Yeah, that don't matter. Don't make it.
We will see. He will be nowhere near the player what he was. I can reassure.
I'll tell you what.
There's a difficult job for Adrian Lamb, that's for sure.
Are they running Super League's best golfer next year? A chance, hasn't he?
Well, he's
still
got his club.
Thanks
That's
to Toby for prompting me on that.
Hey.
Always good to have some writers. Matt says it smacks with double standards, but Wigan should be applauded for helping the lad if he has an issue. Well, just do what he's supposed to do. Then it's like, oh, well done, I'll do what he's supposed to do.
I think you'll also find that the previous clubs he was at helped.
It's not like they kicked him in the, you know.
The question we asked, and this is this is it, and we've seen it to a certain degree with other players that have been in trouble with it, that maybe weren't quite as talented as him. They are not eating at the top table
But
anymore.
also,
They've been shuffled off.
We've gone. Some of them are out of the game now.
Yeah, exactly.
For someone from, if he comes back towards the player that he was, he's relatively cheap.
Oh, he's a phenomenal
that-
player. He's a phenomenal
And that
player.
is one of the reasons
He
why
is.
Wigan were never going to sack him. It's an economic decision more than anything.
Yeah, exactly. But then don't come out and preaching at everyone else
Well-
about well-being when you just let a player resign. Yeah, double standards.
So we're all excited. then
Snatch
for the,
your email tomorrow.
I'm not bothered. I'm not saying anything not everyone
No.
believes, am I? Let's be fair. You know, I don't hang around with a legend. I've been blackballed everywhere, but I do say it as I see it.
That's a bit harsh. Don't be blaming me.
Don't be blaming you. It's funny. Richard and I were glittering careers in this industry. Then we met you, and we were just like,
we can't get Facebook to work now.
we can't even get on Facebook. Job's knackered. Absolutely knackered.
Hey, listen.
We'll be on CFAX next week, like you. That's where we'll be.
You've come to the same reality as me. Being open and honest is the best formula.
It
that
is,
right?
it is, yeah, it is.
Provided you want to be banned from every single
Yeah.
way.
Means you have no friends, no work.
We can still go to Chicken Cottage in Newcastle, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
We can
We'll go tomorrow, we ain't got any work.
Yeah, as fan club, we're waiting for us at Chicken College in Newcastle next year.
No, they're gone now. Gareth says, how do you think Bradford will go now they've been promoted? Are they going to have to do like Toronto did and sign a whole new squad of players?
Well, they've started, haven't they?
You mentioned something earlier about Bradford. Has that been made public? Has that been made publicly aware, or was that just a comment you made off air? Was it?
No, I was definitely on there, what I mean.
Yeah, but where have you got that information from? That's what I want to
I
know.
don't think it's secret.
Is it, or is it not
I don't
secret?
think it is.
All right, okay. Well, I think they're gonna obviously re-sign. I mean, they signed Jai Hitchcock's good sign.
Now they're the biggest sports team in Bradford again. Now the football team's rubbish.
Oh, yeah. I was meant to wear my Rabbit Chow t-shirt.
Yeah, if you're
today.
fan of
I
Bradford,
forgot.
if
you
you're
got a
fan of
friend
Bradford
that's
City,
selling?
yeah.
I have got a friend that's selling them. Yeah, they're in the boot of my car. If you want. Yeah. I was meant to wear it tonight as well. I'll be on Manningham Lane. Now I've got no job. I'll be on Manningham Lane tomorrow selling them. £5 each. It all must go. Preferably before the chairman goes, otherwise I will
I was going to say you'd
be
be
selling
sold,
dusters for £3.
Well, you could send them out to Africa and then you have a load of people just wearing them around. You know, like they send old kids. Right? Who? They'll be going?
Yeah.
Toby says, Bradford, David says, Bradford have a great youth system. They will be okay in the championship.
I think they'll be okay.
Oh, they'll be
I think
fine.
I
Well,
think
it's
they'll
fine. It's fine. Okay for Bradford.
They'll be challenging for fifth, I think.
What do you reckon? 2 years? I think there'll be serious challenges for Super League. 2 years.
I hope so.
And I think they'll have a crack at it next year.
Oh, they
I
will.
think the Championship, if Toronto hadn't been in it, I think the
I
Championship's
think
wide
the
open.
experience that Toronto and Toulouse have got from being in the qualifiers will start them as rightfully as
Look
favourites.
at who Toronto have just signed. I think that starts them as just favourites.
So those two, I think, will possibly set the lead. I think you'd look at Widner's. Will have a very young squad that isn't used to playing in the Championship, so it might take them a little bit while to adjust. Halifax, I think, will be steady, as Halifax are just difficult to beat. They'll be in and around the top 5. You would think they're not going to get any worse. They're going forward rather than backwards. And Bradford, then you're tagging them on the end of that. So you look at maybe sort of if they can hit 5th, the playoffs.
I think
that
they
would
will.
be a huge achievement.
Richard, you getting new batteries for your
Oh,
birthday? Well, we're on low now. So
Yeah.
if that dies,
Well, we've
then
only got
obviously-
4 minutes.
Well, if it dies, I don't think it'll save it, will it? I don't know. Oh,
I'm
Rich
not
could,
sure.
Rich could be getting sacked
He's
in a minute.
so busy baking cakes.
Yeah. Do you get to throw some of them at Scully when he leaves the building later?
Well, that's up to you. I prefer to eat them.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Very good. Any more for any more? Did Terry come back with any positivity for us?
Let's have a look.
We could do with some. If you've got a box of it,
I
send it
think
through.
the big positive is that we now are focusing on international rugby league. The one thing we can all agree on is that this sport needs a higher profile. The only way it will get a higher profile if we all go out and buy tickets to these games. I think there will be a fantastic watch. I genuinely think the way New Zealand played against Australia means that we have got a real battle here for who is going to be the second nation at the end of these three. I can't wait, and I think if you're a rugby league fan of any club, cast aside your loyalty, but go and support the national team.
Hey, I tell you what, at this moment in time, if England, New Zealand, Australia had a round robin fixture and played each other twice, I tell you what, Australia would finish third.
I don't know about that. But
They would finish third because the halfbacks
we're
are
entering
very,
an era.
very ordinary. Australia would finish third.
We're entering a new era whereby you can look at that 2021 World Cup on the horizon and say, look, there's 4 teams now that could win that.
I agree.
And if Fiji get regular fixtures, there could be a 5th thrown into. You know, why aren't England playing Fiji next year?
I don't know.
Fiji have finished in the semi-finals of the last 3 World Cups, and they don't have a definite fixture.
Exactly. It's
But you
bonkers.
bring them over here, where there is some Fijian communities.
Exactly.
I'd go and watch that every day of the week.
Yeah. Peter says he may be a bit podgy, but he's still a quality pundit. He's scoring. Bit harsh.
Well, he got one
Bit
thing
harsh.
right
I'd
tonight.
have gone a lot podgy, not a bit.
He got
Right.
Richard's birthday,
I'm not-
right? That's the only pundit thing he's
I'm
got right.
I'm not podgy. Oh, I'm just well made.
Well, mate.
And the 32s are nipping. I'm just well made. The elastic waist is a nipping.
Elastic. It's like a bungee rope, the elastic in them.
That's a bit
Not
harsh,
big.
son. That's a bit harsh.
Get in. Anyone else?
Well, who are Toronto signing? We've been asked. Ian says Gavin Springer, which
Yeah.
is true, and
Yeah.
John Wilkie and some other people.
Yeah.
Why weren't Leeds looking at him?
Who?
Springer.
Why was he out of favour at Castleford?
That is an
Is that-
interesting question because he has been bang out of favour. He hasn't played, has he, this year?
No, but still.
And yet, a couple of games we've seen him, he has looked fantastic. But I don't know
Oh,
what it
like
is that he didn't have that didn't appeal to Darryl and the staff at Cass.
As we mentioned, the schism in Canadian rugby earlier, league that is. Don has shouted, Toronto have released their only Canadian player. Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Well, they've released him because he wants to be a pilot, and he's gone back to play rugby union so he can pursue a career in aviation and not be a professional rugby player.
Which is fair enough.
I don't know why he just didn't want to be a bit part player at Toronto than 15 grand a year. What, has the kid got no ambition?
Well,
Craft beer.
probably get more as a pilot.
I'm going to say, I think he's got some ambition. Wants to be a pilot.
Someone said, because
Right, it's 8 o'clock now.
Oh,
The
yeah,
battery's
8
going to
o'clock.
run out, so I'm going to turn it off.
I'll
That's
save
it.
me a craft beer at Headingley Ranford Award.
Alright, no worries. Rich, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yes.
Are we all for
Happy
a beer?
birthday, Rich.
Well, we're going to have a bun.
Oh, we're having a bun. Alright, thanks to the
for me.
legend.
Pleasure as always.
Thanks to Phil, as ever.
Funny, so-
Next week, loads of positivity after the sellout England game and a big win for England over the Kiwis. Thanks to everyone that's joining. Apologies for all technical issues. We'll beat Rich later about that and sort that out for next week. See you then. Bye.